hits and be a part of the heart-pounding action. Don't miss out as we continue our quest for the cup. From the first puck drop to the final horn, there's nonstop excitement at every Carolina Hurricanes game. Secure your tickets now at hurricanes.com/tickets. Let's go, Canes.
Drive-through car washes are quick, but a mobile detailer gets to the nitty-gritty. Autobell Car Wash is the sweet spot between both. We quickly clean your car from the inside out to save you time. Get the app at autobell.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com. WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
Big moment here as the Canes will knock it away. Jarvis, he's got Aho with him. Jarvis comes in. Aho waits, scores! Shorthanded! Sebastian Aho gets Carolina on the board. It's 1-0 Hurricanes. Stahl winds one up. They score! The captain from inside the blue line. There was net front, and Carolina gets their 2-goal lead right back. And Jordan Martinook gets the tip. And Carolina up 3-1. Kotkaniemi with a drive. He scores! Yes, Barry Kotkaniemi picks the far corner. And the Canes go up 4-1.
It's the Adam Gold Show. How is everybody? Hi is everybody? I don't know.
It's okay. It's Tuesday.
Thank you very much. It is, in fact, Tuesday. Fantastic. I am Adam Gold. That is Victoria. We're live on YouTube, as we always are. YouTube.com/Adam Gold or 99.9 The Fan. Either way, you get to the same spot. And we are here until 3. Much new and a very busy show. We've got coaches all over the place.
I know.
We have Dave Doeren will join us in the third hour. Blake Harrell in the second. Blake is the new head coach at East Carolina, but does he feel like a new? He's already coached 5 games. Yeah. It's almost like he's not really the new coach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
it's like when you've been in a relationship for a long time and then you finally get married.
Right. Been living together, then you get married.
Yeah, it's like, what's the difference? Yeah.
Never mind. Just never mind. Yeah, so we have Blake Harrell and Dave Doeren. By the way, they're meeting up at the Military Bowl on the 28th. And like I don't even know is that I think that's a good thing. Yeah. I think it's a good thing that we've got a bowl game where 2 teams who, by the way, are going to open next season against each other.
Wow.
So back-to-back East Carolina and North Carolina State games.
There's that.
But I think it's a good thing that this is a bowl matchup. Because, no offense, if it's State, I could pick anything out of the air. If it's State and, I don't know, Georgia Southern, you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Don't really care.
Nah.
Right? Especially from an NC State perspective. This is I'm not knocking. There are plenty of great group of 5 teams. State would be probably a 10-point underdog to Boise, who plays in a group of 5 league. So it's not about a lower level. But when you play a bowl game against a team outside the Power 4, the power structure of the sport, at times it would be difficult to get yourself motivated for it. We've heard it for years about the SEC. We're just not motivated when they lose the bowl game. They just tell you that after the fact. It's hard to get up for a game against, I don't know, whoever. But when it's a rival, when it's a team against whom, the players have maybe played with as teammates in high school, against in high school, live in the same town. Like, there's a lot of layers to these matchups. Normally we see them during the regular season. We don't often see them in a bowl game. But, man, it's a cool way to end the season and maybe get a little bit of a glimpse, as to what's going to be the deal next year. But we'll talk to Dave Doeren about that. We'll talk to Blake Harrell about that. We'll also talk about the Panthers with Darin Gantt. He's going to join us. Let's see. Conor O'Neill covers Wake Forest and Duke. Duke plays basketball tonight against George Mason. Not a great team, but not a bad team. And Dave Clawson resigned yesterday.
I know. After the show, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I didn't know about it.
I didn't know until after.
I actually didn't know until I was otherwise occupied with a lot of different things yesterday. And I didn't really know about it until about 8 o'clock. I'm like, what?
I know. Yeah.
So I'm not that surprised because he'd been doing this for a while. And it was it seemed to be taking on a similar pattern to Jim Grobe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Jim Grobe elevated Wake Forest football. They won an ACC title. Keep that in mind. And then, the last few years, it was kind of going back down to where you would normally think Wake Forest football would be. And so he left, maybe helped, but he left. Dave Clawson came in, back up. And it looked as though it was then now running its course. And yes, the landscape of the sport, in fact, all college sports, very different. And that had a lot to do with it. So we'll talk to Conor O'Neill about that and a little bit about Duke because there's a lot of stuff to talk about with the Blue Devils, so he covers both. So we'll get to that. We got a lot of stuff to do. Anything else going on? No, we got plenty. Let's start.
Yeah.
So let me quickly start with the Hurricanes. We'll talk to Rod Brind'Amour in about 10 minutes. Canes and the Islanders tonight. This is the fourth of this 4-game homestand that has not always been great. The Ottawa game was bad, right? They won the San Jose game, although that wasn't a great performance. It was great. They finally got to their game in the third period. Then they lost to the Senators. Then they did the thing against Columbus. It certainly wasn't a complete game in terms of all four lines going, but got good goaltending from Dustin Tokarski. Won the game. It will be Pyotr Kochetkov back in net tonight. And I do not think it's impossible, or I don't think it's possible to underestimate just how important a start this is for Kochetkov. A, he's got to be better than he was on Long Island. And B, at some point, he has to give them 60 minutes without a brain fart. Has to. That means, staying in your net more often than not, being judicious about how you, attack certain situations that you normally would stay in your crease, but you go on walkabout somewhere, hang on to your stick, and don't let a soft goal in. This team is desperate for a solid Pyotr Kochetkov performance. Start to finish. Desperate for it. And if he can stack those on top of each other, Carolina will feel much better about their situation while they wait the return of Frederik Andersen. Dustin Tokarski on Sunday did give them some reason for optimism, but my opinion is that it's largely short-lived, and I still think they need a goalie. I still think they need an NHL-caliber goalie, although Dustin Tokarski, my mind is wide open. You want to make a believer out of me? I am here to be made a believer of. I don't have any idea if that sentence structure is correct or not.
We'll make it correct.
Yeah,
it's fine.
We'll figure it out. All right, so let me get to the Dave Clawson thing real quick, because I do think this is it's a significant situation. Certainly, you have a lot of Wake fans who listen Clawson is one of the best football coaches you will come across anywhere. In terms of coaching the game, I mean, this is not hyperbole. When it comes to coaching the game, I am not sure that there is a better coach than Dave Clawson. I mean, there are a lot of great coaches. But you consider the football tradition at Wake Forest, the academic rigors that you have to deal with at Wake. It's a small private school. You don't have the alumni base. They clearly do not have. He made reference to it last year too. They don't have the pockets. They don't have the NIL base to compete. And Clawson basically said, we got the best players we could afford. Right? So he is reminding you that they swim in a different pool because of finances. Now, it's not that different. It's different, but it's, in some ways, it's the same as Wake has always dealt with before the era of NIL. You know, Wake always had to find little diamonds in the rough. And I think Clawson did a lot of the same things that Jim Grobe did. The plan was, try to recruit unheralded players, redshirt all of them, and allow them time to develop. And then hopefully by their third year in the program, which would have been their redshirt sophomore year, they would be ready to really contribute. And then you'd get 3 years of eligibility. Well, we know that doesn't happen today. So things have had to change, but they're still, in many ways, hampered by a developmental system that really isn't used all that much at the higher levels of college football these days. It's very transactional, and I don't see Clawson or Wake as a transactional football coach or program. So it'll be interesting to see who they go out and get. Do they try to get somebody who plays a little bit of a different style offense? Do they go after Jeff Munkett at Army? I know Wake's played a different style offense. Ken Munkett, I think, is a good enough coach to kind of take what Army was doing and, modernize it with more passing to make it amenable to ACC football. Don't know. Certainly Paul Johnson at Georgia Tech won with the triple option, wishbone, whatever, for a long time, and he was very good. But a lot of people ridiculed it because, man, Georgia Tech should be above using a wishbone in modern times. So we'll see. Hopefully, Wake won't have a very long coaching search. And, well, Bill Belichick's been hired. Trying to think who could be. Jimmy Johnson to Wake. I'm going to say it right. Jimmy Johnson
There you go.
to Wake Forest. Jimmy Johnson. I have no idea.
Just not Matt Rule.
No.
I don't ever want him in this state again.
No.
Out. Done.
Yeah, no good. All right, so just here's a little bit of a comparison. So, Grobe won a title at Wake. And it was ridiculed. Well, the ACC was down. I don't really care. Wake Forest won a title. That's all you need to know. And I think that overall, Clawson's record of, I think it was 67 and 69, I think it's deceptively great. Remember, Wake Forest put out a bunch of 1 and 2 win seasons with guys before Jim Grobe. Good coaches. It's a hard place to win, man. A hard place to win. He went to 7 straight bowl games. He won a division title in 2021. Won the Atlantic Division. You know who plays in the Atlantic Division that Wake Forest was in? Well, played because we don't have it anymore. Clemson is in there. Who else is in there? Florida State is in there. NC State is in there. How many? I guess 20, 21, whatever. They've done a lot of good work at Wake under Dave Clawson. And for 2 years in a row, they found themselves at one point in the top 10. Wake Forest. So it's an interesting job. It is not easy. I don't know. By the way, they also just got a quarterback out of the transfer portal like a few days ago from Northern Illinois, and that Dave Clawson's not there. How does that work? Anyway, we'll talk to Conor O'Neill about that a little bit later on. You know what today is?
Tuesday.
It is Tuesday. You are 100% correct on that. But there is made-for-television golf today. I think it's today. Rory McIlroy and Scottie Scheffler will be taking on Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau in a match that I'm going to guess most people didn't even know was happening.
It's probably a fair assumption.
Yeah, I ain't going to watch it. I'm going to be at the hockey game. My son will probably watch it since he loves all of those players. He'll watch it because he's a golf freak and it doesn't matter to him that there's really nothing on it. But what's notable is that you've got Rory and Scottie, who are both on the PGA Tour, Bryson and Brooks, who are both on the LIV Tour. And the whole goal, this was orchestrated to get these players together because it's important to these players that the two tours come together more than just at major championships 4 times a year. Now, whether or not it's ever going to be worked out between the two entities, between the PGA Tour and the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund that runs LIV, or funds LIV, but it kind of runs it too. Whether they can figure out how to make this happen, I don't know. They've been talking about it for a year and a half, and they still haven't figured it out. But it's important to the players like McIlroy and Scheffler and Koepka and DeChambeau, especially to Koepka and DeChambeau, who are tired, I think, of playing professionally in anonymity, because that's what it is. No offense, we might have some fans out there of LIV Golf, and I'm not knocking you for being a fan of that. Okay, I'm just saying that nobody watches. The television numbers, streaming numbers, are, comically low. So I think these guys, now Brooks doesn't have the online presence that DeChambeau does. DeChambeau doesn't need any more people watching him play because he kills YouTube. Koepka, who might not care, I bet his sponsors care. I'll bet his sponsors care a lot. All right, we got a hockey game tonight. Let's check in with Brind'Amour. I know you're going back to Pyotr Kochetkov, but did you give any thought at all to giving Dustin Tokarski another spin?
No, not really. I mean, we got a little plan here, and we knew, he'll play again at some point here in the next before Christmas. So that was kind of the plan all along. He gave us a nice little start, and we're going to definitely use him again.
Well, he certainly gave you guys a lift, especially he made 2 or 3 really good saves early before the shorthanded goal. But bigger picture, as a 35-year-old guy who started the season out of the game, how cool a moment is that for him?
Well, I think it's a great story. You're right. I mean, he was literally didn't have a spot to play, and at that age, that's probably what everybody's thinking, that maybe that's it for him. But I give him a lot of credit. He hung in there, and he came in on a tryout. I mean, It wasn't even and he did well in Chicago for us, and then obviously had a great start here. So hopefully that story continues.
You are not normally given to expressions of like happiness or excitement when a player does something. You always kind of downplay a kind of individual, performances. But you seemed extra happy for Jesperi Kotkaniemi after scoring that goal. Other than 4-1, basically puts the game to bed. Why is that?
Well, I don't know that I was overly happy with him, but I think I was happy to see him doing what I think the way he needs to play, which is, he's got a really good wrist shot or a shot in general, and if he can think more utilize that, that's an asset that he has, and I think he's been kind of underutilizing it. So, that's more of the game, right? Like straight lines. He made a nice little drag, but it was chop mentality, and we need more of that. He's a big guy, and we need more because he's playing now with our, arguably our two best wingers, and that line has to be on the score sheet. And for him to be effective, I think he needs to be more around the net and doing that kind of work.
Yeah, especially at home, they're going to get matchups against third-pair defensemen and bottom six forwards. That line should really be on the score sheet just about every night. It's also an opportunity for Kotkaniemi to really take advantage. I mean, you don't want Jack Jury to be out, but this is an opportunity for him to know he's going to get a lot of playing time.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we were shorthanded up the middle for sure, and that's the role that he was brought in here to be, which is play with these guys. And again, if we can get consistent play out of that position, especially like you mentioned at home with the matchups and the way we delegate the responsibilities and on kind of who's getting the tougher matchups, that line is really the key to the whole thing.
All right, let me ask you real quick about two of your other players who are still, it's kind of amazing that the standings look the way they do, and Sebastian Aho and Andrei Svechnikov, certainly at even strength, have not really hit their stride. But how hard is it to convince them that it's got to start on the defensive end? That if that doesn't happen, cheating for offense just leads to bad play. Is it hard to convince them of that at all?
No, I mean, that's not really – I don't even know if that's how we even talk about it. It's just the bigger picture, just doing everything right, whether you have the puck or not. Like a lot of their issues, for me, is the puck decisions when they have the puck. So that's not having anything to do with away from the puck. It's what are you thinking when you have it. And, I think in 5-on-5, we'd love to see them generate more. But when you're not, then you certainly can't – that's when you can't cheat it.
Right.
That's when you for sure can't be giving up chances and not creating enough. That doesn't work at all. So I think it's more just reinforcing the good habits. They had some good shifts the other night, all of them. And, they did create some scoring opportunities. So it's like, okay, how do we keep doing that stuff? And, those guys are too good of players, both of them I think they have 3 even strength goals.
Combined.
Amongst them. That's going to change as long as they continue with the right habits.
All right, when you see a team like the Islanders that is good, and they proved it a week and a half ago, but their record is not good, how do you – what do you tell the guys? Don't look at the record, obviously. Just show them the tape of the second period 10 days ago?
Well, I think it's just we understand. We played these guys so much over the last few years. I think everybody understands the type of game it's going to be. Like it's more than likely going to be a 1-goal game, and it's staying patient with your game and not getting frustrated by it. They do a good job of defending and waiting for their chances, and you can't give them those chances. So it's kind of sticking to what we do and try to push the issue, but just not give them those free ones. And that's kind of what we did up there. And then we got to our game, it was a little too late. We'd already kind of spotted them a couple. So that's what we got to, understand the type of game it's going to be. They got their full lineup, I think, going tonight. They looks like they might have some guys back that have been missing. So, it's probably a little different game than we had up there.
Congratulations on your ascension into the Order of the Longleaf Pine. I know the governor was there. He interrupted your press conference after the game on Sunday. Do you know who else is in? Other than you, it's a very cool club. Oprah.
Yeah.
Oprah's in.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't know what I have in common with her, but not much. But I do know he did say Coach K was in there.
Coach K, Robert Redford.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's cool.
Danny Glover.
A friend of mine's father's in there, Mr. Towton. I gotta look that up. So that's going way back. So there's I'm sure there's a lot of really qualified people. I'm not really sure I deserve to be on those names, but it was a nice honor, and more importantly, it was great to see Governor Cooper come down, and he's just so enthusiastic about our team, and I mean he's genuine with that, and I really appreciate the support he's given us over the years, and he genuinely really thinks the Canes are so great for North Carolina, which they are, but he certainly shows it. So really appreciate him.
He has been a fan for a long time. I used to go to games with him 25 years ago when he was well before he was the governor. He was the attorney general at the time when we would occasionally sit with each other at games. He is a big time fan, not only of the team but of the head coach. Thank you. I will talk to you very soon.
Okay, buddy. See ya.
Love catching up with Rob Brind'Amour before the game. Yes. Let's see who else is in. Catfish Hunter, Order of the Longleaf Pond. That just sounds so North Carolina, doesn't it?
Very.
Let's see. Andy Griffith.
Oh, yeah. Well,
shocking.
For sure.
Yeah.
Anyone named Bubba? That would be very.
You're
North
a native.
I am a native, so I can say that.
You're a native North Carolinian. Harry Belafonte is in part of the Order of the Longleaf Pond.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Order of the Phoenix. I don't know. Dale Earnhardt and Dale Earnhardt Jr. both in as well. Obviously a lot of
shake and bake.
Rubman is racing. Richard Petty. All of that.
Yeah.
Benny Parsons, Junior Johnson, so many North Carolinians in there, obviously. So
I told Rod, I said, one step closer to the Hall of Fame.
That much yeah, well, we got to
get him in that one.
Yes, we're going to lobby. All right, when we come back, the Panthers lost Sunday. I know you know that. Actually, they have lost a bunch in a row. But this was the first time they didn't play well in almost a month. Darin Gantt, Panthers.com. Next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and I am helping you celebrate the 5 days of Canesmas all week long on 99.9 The Fan. It's presented by Hardee's. Let's celebrate our hometown hockey team. Call 919-860-5326. Be the captain. Caller 11. You'll score a $50 gift card from Hardee's. 919-860-5326. Listen to The Drive this afternoon for more chances to celebrate Canesmas with us. Thanks to Hardee's. Unwrap the holiday goodness of our handcrafted favorites. Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and our cup runneth over tonight. It is NBA League Cup championship match. It's the Thunder and the Bucks. Couldn't have a better matchup. I don't know. Maybe you could, but I don't think so. Bucks are playing great. Thunder might be the best team in the entire league. Something tells me Milwaukee is good tonight. Damian Lillard over 20 points. Seems like something he would do in an NBA Cup final. And right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet hits. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Max wager amount applies. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms for both offers at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
During the Ram Wrap-Up the Year sales event, take advantage of huge deals on a wide selection of built-to-serve Ram trucks. And right now, finance and get $8,500 total cash allowance on the 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab. Go to ram.com and hurry to your local Ram dealer for $8,500 total cash allowance on the 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab. Hurry to the Ram Wrap-Up the Year sales event today. Financing for well-qualified buyers through Stellantis Financial. Not all customers will qualify. Residency restrictions apply. Take delivery by 1/2/25.
Give the gift of legendary craftsmanship this holiday season with an Omega timepiece. From the iconic Speedmaster that accompanied astronauts to the moon, to the Seamaster loved by the world's most famous spy, Omega watches capture the spirit of adventure and precision. At Bailey's Fine Jewelry, find a timepiece that matches your story. Elevate your holiday with an Omega timepiece from Bailey's and make this season unforgettable. Voted Best Jeweler. Learn more at baileybox.com.
I went to My Computer Career because I needed job security.
Because I wanted a career in cybersecurity.
I went to My Computer Career because IT jobs are everywhere.
My old job was going nowhere.
I went because I didn't want college loans for the rest of my life.
Because I wanted a career for the rest of my life.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Classes available online or in person. Financial aid available for qualified students, including the GI Bill. 529 college savings plans accepted.
Not available in Washington State.
Introducing a product that redefines living well.
Luxury.
Designed to satisfy your wildest desires.
Extravagance.
Overflowing with suspense, dripping with wealth.
Fortune.
The $8 million moneymaker from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With prizes that start at $100 and go up to $8 million. Every win's a big win.
Whisper.
Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 4.14. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
This is Adam Gold.
Georgia needs Alabama to beat LSU right now. And Georgia fans are beside themselves thinking that they have to root for Alabama for anything. So, I mean, it's messy everywhere.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold, Victoria on the ones and twos today. After 3 weeks of offensive growth over growth over growth, wasn't great against Dallas. Of course, it wasn't great defensively either. We'll talk about that. But it was the first time in a while that Bryce Young didn't play all that well. Turned it over 4 times. I still think that it might have been a little bit different if he doesn't fumble it on that first possession. Who knows? But for people calling it a setback, and I bristled at this yesterday. Yes, I said bristled. I don't look at it as a setback. I look at it as a bad performance. Darin Gantt, no setback here. We asked the old guy, Panthers.com, my friend. Yes, I said bristled. How do you term what we saw against Dallas other than just didn't play well? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Darin Gantt, we're asking the old guy, Panthers.com, who said the internet was a terrible idea, but Panthers.com is on the internet, Darin. Okay. I feel like I know it hasn't been that long, but whether it's been 2 weeks or 3 weeks since we've talked, I'm just curious. When you look at Bryce, and I know he didn't play well against Dallas, but over this stretch of games, and I thought the last 3 before this week were clear, maybe giant steps forward for him as a quarterback. What are your thoughts on Bryce next year and maybe beyond? Right. Darin Gantt, Panthers.com, is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I know, kind of under the radar, and I don't think he is, let's just say, top half of the NFL as a starting left tackle. But under the radar, it's been a fairly good year for Ike Ekwonu. He's not getting turnstiled too much at left tackle. He's an incredible run blocker. My only thought about Ekwonu is if you could get better and maybe move him to the other side, which is traditionally more of a run blocking position, right tackle, would they consider that? Okay. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Darin Gantt is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Panthers and Cardinals. As Arizona at one point was leading that division, and now it doesn't look like they're going to ultimately get it across the line. I think the Rams might be the best team in that division, but San Francisco is completely fallen off the face of the earth. Injuries and also inexplicable blown leads early have ultimately done them in. If you were Dan Morgan, what would you address first in this offseason?
Pass rusher, pass rusher, pass rusher. How many times can I say that fast? They've got to find people to, no, you know what? Let me back up. You know what I would do? I would go find me a big 340-pound dude who gets 100 tackles a year to anchor the middle of the defense.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they've got one of those. His name's Derek Brown. Yeah. I would let time heal Derek Brown's meniscus. That would be my first move, and that makes that defense a lot better. But, yeah, they got to find people who chase quarterbacks around. I think it's pretty clear that they need more of those, and I think they're going to be shopping in bulk. I mean, but, let's be honest. If you look at that defense as it's standing out there today, and God only knows who's going to be starting by the end of this season. I mean, the way guys are going down. Claude Cheerless, bless his heart, got hurt the other day. He was the backup to the backup middle linebacker, and now he hurt himself, and they're going to be looking for another starter next to Josie Jewell this week. So there's a lot of work to be done. If the first 3 picks were in the defensive front 7, I don't think anybody would have any problem with that, because if you find another big-time interior presence to put next to Derek Brown, Ashawn Robinson, that makes the whole defense better. If you find an inside linebacker who could replace Shaq Thompson for the long term, that makes it that much better. If you can find pass rushers, yes, please, many, plural.
They clearly do need that. If the Panthers have the first pick, not that they're going to, but if they ended up with the first pick, what do you think they would do?
See, that's bait, is what that is. That's you're trying to get me to go there. You're trying.
I know. I think the first pick is bait too.
It's possible. I mean, but he sure can play. I think I don't know what the NFL future is for somebody who can play on both sides.
Oh, you're talking about Travis Hunter's the best player in the draft, but he's not going to be the first pick.
Probably not. And I think anytime quarterbacks are in the mix, I mean, again, if you want to write if you consider the trade for Bryce Young a wrong, if you want to write it and you're sitting in the top 3 and don't necessarily need quarterback, you got the opportunity to move back and do things. So I just think they don't. I think with the position they're in, I don't know that they'll want to go back too far, because they do need to add impact players, specifically on defense.
I wouldn't go back beyond 3, because I think the best player in the draft is going 3rd. I think Hunter's the best player.
In the immortal words of Colton Tudor, you could be right.
Oh man, it makes me feel good that you quoted the one and only Colton Tudor. That really does. He just made me feel some type of way, Darin Gantt. All right, before I let you go, your side and my side are meeting on, is it Saturday? No, Sunday, right? It's the last. I think it's the last match Sunday.
Yeah.
You feeling good?
You're right.
Feeling good about Ange Ball?
Sure, why not? We beat the last place team in the league by 5 this week. What could possibly go wrong? Here's part of the thing. The Tottenham experience has geared me up for a lifetime of sports misery. Yeah, the highest of highs. Man City, they got nothing for us. Every other team in the relegation zone, you're dropping points there. So I fully expected Southampton to win that game last week. So why not?
By the way, everybody's beating Man City right now. Just
Listen,
not to take any shine off of it.
Okay, this is a years-long thing. Even when they were good,
I know
Tottenham was the only team that could beat them.
500 record, actually, maybe a shade better than 500 against City over the last, I think, 5 years. Darin Gantt, Panthers.com. We asked the old guy, and we were channeling the old guy earlier about several things. All right, sir. Merry Christmas to you. We'll talk to you in the new year.
Yep. Happy holidays to everyone. Enjoy it.
There you go. Darin Gantt, Panthers.com here on the Adam Gold Show. We'll have one-timers when we come back. Questions and answers. I am ready. Next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and we've got the NBA on our minds. And FanDuel has all your favorite bets, from who will win the game to how many points a player will score. We got parlays, we got totals, we have everything, player props as well. Plus, you can check out newer bets, number of dunks, assists, three-pointers in the next 3 minutes. My gosh, we're getting specific, aren't we? It doesn't matter if you tap into FanDuel before the game starts or after it's already tipped off. You can pick up a dub whenever, and now's the perfect time to do it. New customers, bet $5, win that bet, get $150 in bonus bets. How about that? FanDuel.com/AGS for your chance to win. Have a ball. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
It's that time of year to come see me. Don't let COVID-19 and the flu stop you. So make sure you don't have to cancel on those you love the most.
By getting your flu and COVID vaccines. They're safe and effective.
Both flu and COVID vaccines have been updated to fight against new virus strains.
So make sure you don't miss that family gathering and protect those around you. Ask your healthcare provider about updated flu and COVID-19 shots.
Get protected this season with updated COVID-19 and flu shots. Visit myspot.nc.gov and find yours today.
As public power customers, we experience fewer outages and faster restoration than customers of other electric providers. But the benefits of having a locally owned electric system go far beyond unbeaten reliability. Our local public power employees support our community, providing electric hookups for events, installing and maintaining ballpark lights, holiday lights, traffic lights, street lights, and more. Local people working together to meet local needs. That's the value of public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
Healthcare.gov has plans for health because you have plans for life. All plans cover doctor visits and emergency care to keep you and your family running strong. All plans cover hospital stays and prescriptions so you can have peace of mind. Visit healthcare.gov to explore health plans from the brands you know. 4 out of 5 customers can find a health plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Final deadline to enroll is January 15th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
As fall championships begin, the Governor's Highway Safety Program would like to remind you to buckle your seatbelt when traveling home from today's events. Whether you're driving out of town or across town this holiday season, wearing a seatbelt is your best defense against injury or death in a crash. During the busiest time of travel, prioritize your safety and buckle up. Every seat, every time. And remember, click it or ticket. It's the law. This message brought to you by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and the Governor's Highway Safety Program.
AARP is working hard to make sure people in North Carolina are getting the most out of life. Whether it's helping you stay healthy, save more money, care for loved ones, or simply have some fun, AARP is making a difference in communities across the state. You have a wise friend and fierce defender with AARP. Learn more about progress being made for older adults in the state by listening to AARP Without Limits. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
You wouldn't ask your mechanic to help stage your property for an open house. As NC Realtors, we're experts who make buying or selling property easier for you. Using the latest technology and armed with local insights, our realtors help you find properties you would want to call home. We also know which details make your property more attractive to other buyers. From start to finish, our realtors know. Find out more at ncrealtorsknow.com.
This is Adam Gold.
We don't need Al Roker in a suit doing yoga.
No.
And Al, to his credit, recognized that and said, you know what? I am not getting into Warrior 2.
I'm stopping at Downward Dog.
There will be no, he didn't get to that. Like, heck no.
The Adam Gold Show.
Talk a little college football, top of the hour. Blake Harrell, the East Carolina head coach, will join us at about 1:15 today. Conor O'Neill from Deacons Illustrated and Devils Illustrated will join us at 2 to talk about the resignation, retirement, I don't know how you frame it, of Dave Clawson, who I think surprised a lot of people yesterday that he walked away. And then Dave Doeren at 2:30 today. So we got a lot of things to do. Right now, it's questions and answers. One-timers. Very excited.
Yes, one-timers. And we'll kick it off.
I can't tell if you were being sarcastic there or not.
I just laughed. I've listened before, and sometimes one-timers turns into a power play. But this is one-timers. So
I
first
don't know how to take that. I really don't.
No, it's not. It's not you. So the first question is about the Canes. We're playing the Islanders tonight at home, which could be a very tricky team.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going to be the key for the Canes to get a win tonight at home?
All right. My view of playing the Islanders is that they hate the game. The Islanders hate hockey. They don't want it to be fun. They want it to be essentially like like a high school class you dread going to. They want it to be physics.
Yeah.
It's bad. Hurricanes need to not get dragged into an Islanders game. Use their speed. Don't play like you're playing against a bunch of old dudes. That's the way the Islanders want to play. Now, they have a level of skill, too. I'm not saying that they don't. But primarily, they want to drag you into the mud in a hockey game. So don't get dragged into it.
Yeah. Well, moving on to football. So the Panthers are in this. There are teams who are likely to be some of the first ones to pick, like the Raiders, the Giants, The Panthers. Season's not over yet, so we'll see. But where do you see a player like Travis Hunter going?
Third. First two picks will be quarterbacks because
or
the
which
league.
Team do you think he'll likely go to? Or could you
right
say
now?
maybe?
Right now, it's. I think that the Giants are going to take a quarterback. Yeah. Whether they have to trade up to get it or not, the Giants are going to take a quarterback. The Raiders are going to take a quarterback. Those two teams, I don't know if they're going to be picking 1-2. Right now, they're in that spot. They're in those spots. But look, there's so many teams with 3 wins that if the Raiders or Giants screwed up and won a game, like, I don't know how it looks, right? But those two teams will take quarterbacks even if they have to trade up. So this is why if I'm the Panthers, man, the third spot is the best spot.
Mm-hmm.
If you get 1 or 2, you can use that as a chip, but I wouldn't trade back very far. To me, the Panthers, Travis Hunter was created with the Panthers in mind because they need wide receiver and cornerback. It's perfect.
It'd be fun to have him here. So, speaking of quarterbacks, potentially washed up ones, who knows? Kirk Cousins seems like such a nice guy, but he had a rough night last night during the Atlanta game, and the Raiders almost did fall into a win at the very end. So, do you see Kirk Cousins still being in the NFL next season?
In the NFL, yes. Not as a starter. Well, it might be a starter for a horrible team. But I don't see him as a starting quarterback for a good team. Kirk Cousins, accept life as a backup. He could play maybe, and this is not even a joke, he could play 5 more years as a backup quarterback.
It's not a bad gig.
Oh my gosh, it's a great gig.
Get paid just to sit on the bench most of the time.
The greatest job in the world was that of Peyton Manning's backup quarterback for years with the Colts. You never played, ever. You made decent money just to go to meetings and hang out with Peyton.
Right.
Who's clearly a great guy.
It's a win-win.
So, yeah, to me, that's where Kirk Cousins should end up as a backup quarterback. I know that Raheem Morris said he wasn't going to make a change this year. They're bad.
Yeah.
The first 9 games, Kirk Cousins was excellent. Seriously. It's the last 6 where he hasn't been.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we flip to Michael Penix just to see.
Yeah.
But I don't think the Falcons are going to catch the Buccaneers. Buccaneers look like a legitimately good football team.
Yeah.
And the Falcons look like a legitimately good football team with a legitimately old, broken quarterback.
Poor Kirk.
Yeah.
Well, moving on to a quarterback who's actually been the opposite and has been looking better this season than he's been with other teams, Sam Darnold. Do you see the Vikings keeping him? However, that's going to cause probably some cap issues. Or could another team take him?
I think if you're Minnesota, what you would like is for Darnold to give you a reasonable year, right? A reasonable contract for 1 year. But if I am Sam Darnold, I am not that interested.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I didn't love Minnesota, and I would love to throw to Justin Jefferson if I were a quarterback. And by the way, Jordan Addison is a pretty good number too. But I don't see Minnesota giving Darnold. It's not going to be a $60 million deal, but I don't see Minnesota giving Sam Darnold a $40 million deal when you've got J.J. McCarthy, who they love, who was a top 10 draft pick last year. He just got hurt. So Minnesota's in a difficult spot, but my guess is that Darnold is elsewhere next year.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Pinch me, because Lobster's back at Carolina Ale House. This fan favorite's only available through the end of the year, so head for your closest Carolina Ale House and load up on lobster. Enjoy your favorites or try something new like lobster seafood scampi, surf and turf, grouper fingers, and more. And as long as you're treating yourself, go all out with dessert too. Top off your lobster meal with a nice warm brookie with ice cream on top. Visit any Carolina Ale House in the Triangle and treat yourself. #AleYeah.
Mitchell Heating and Cooling. We do the job right every time.
Mitchell Heating and Cooling is celebrating 51 years of trusted service. And to celebrate, get a furnace tune-up for just $51. That's peace of mind heating for only $51. Visit MitchellHVAC.com. Mitchell Heating and Cooling, quality products and services on time from a family you trust. It's hard to stop a train.
The best solutions every time.
It's Tim Donnelly for Window Nation. It's Window Nation's end-of-the-year sale. Get 50% off all styles of windows and a bonus 10% off. Plus, you could get 0 interest for 6 years. Sale ends December 31st, so book a quote at 866-90Nation or at windownation.com.
Welcome to the North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club Aromatherapy Room. Our first scent is the essence of this month's scratch-offs.
I'm getting notes of anticipation mingled with cold hard cash.
Anyone else?
Oh, is that tilapia?
Sorry, that's my lunch.
New Diamond 10X and Lotteria are here. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.99 to 4.23. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Make holiday magic this year with something beautiful and timeless from Diamonds Direct. At Diamonds Direct, we have hundreds of styles that are ready to be wrapped and put under the tree. No need to wait for shipping. For some fabulous ideas before you head to the store, see the online seasonal gift guide now at DiamondsDirect.com. We've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Stop letting high interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days thanks to Loan Pronto's new Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox from my friends at Loan Pronto. Imagine a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan uses AI-driven tech to get you approved for cash out in as little as 1 day. One client got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out their debt, launched a home improvement project, and is now saving over $1,000 a month. Instant approvals, low fixed rates, fast transfers. Get cash to consolidate all your debt and get a fresh start for the new year. year. Call Loan Pronto now and see how much you qualify for. Imagine, this time next week, you could be credit card debt-free. Call 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection, one that helps better their everyday through the things they value most: friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I don't think that Bill Belichick's going to be doing anything different than what Nick Saban did to get these guys. His pedigree alone shows him that he doesn't have to. Yes, he hasn't coached in the college game, but 6 Super Bowl rings, the amount of winning he's done in his career, second all-time winningest coach in NFL history. I don't think that he has to change what he does, his process, to be able to be on the road 200-something days a year recruiting players. A, he's not going to have the time to do that. B, I don't think he has to, given the support system he's going to have in place to get those deals done. And then him being the one who basically signs off on it when they come to Chapel Hill to take their official visit or whatever else is there.
Our friend Bridget Condon of the NFL Network. She joined us last week, right after Bill Belichick became the head coach of your North Carolina Tar Heels. I've received a fair amount of questions about this. Actually had a long conversation, and I'll leave his name out of it because he has nothing to do with football, but I was talking about some other things with him, and he just threw some. He's a huge football fan. He's a former player in a different sport. And his wife, her family are a bunch of Tar Heel fans. And he used to give them a hard time because you guys still aren't top 10, even though you probably should be. It's one of those conversations about the sleeping giant program. And I know those of us who live here, we laugh at that because I'm sure that everybody who fancies themselves a sports fan or a college football fan has thought to themselves at one point, why aren't they better? Everything is set up for the University of North Carolina to be better. They owe that to basketball, by the way, because there is something to be said for being a national brand as a university. And UNC absolutely is. This is not to throw shade on other schools. I'm not talking down to State. North Carolina, based on the basketball prominence, is a national brand. They certainly haven't done anything in football to deserve that, but it doesn't matter. At some point, you're like, well, is football ever going to do anything? And it's really not. Yeah, there have been good years, but not that many. And I am getting tons of questions about, is this really going to work? And I keep saying the same thing, and we talked about it last week. We don't know. We really don't know. I am interested in this experiment, however, because I think ultimately, and I said this last week, one of two things happens. This is either an enormous success or it's an utter failure, and failure might look like 8-4. failure might look like 9-3. But this is a pass-fail for UNC. So it's either you got an A or you flunked. Because the amount of money, especially private money, that is going to be involved in this, it has to pass. It has to be an A. So North Carolina, not necessarily in year one, but it's got to be an A. So in year two, you got to be pushing for a playoff spot. Just has to. We talked to Nick Stevens about this yesterday. The in-state recruiting, Bill said at his press conference, sure, I'll go and high school, recruit high school players. I'll go in living rooms and whatnot because that's, the traditional way you recruit. I'm not sure that should be the plan for Bill. What I do want to caution people, and if I'm proven wrong about this over the years, then by all means, let me know. I do not believe that Bill is here because he has this deep affection for the University of North Carolina. Nope, he does not. This is transactional. It's transactional on the part of Belichick. It's transactional on the part of the University of North Carolina. Yes, I know his dad coached here for like 3 seasons. It was literally 3/4 of a century ago. So, he's been to Kenan Stadium. I'm sure he was here as, a representative of a team at some point. He did coach Lawrence Taylor. He was the defensive coach for the Giants when Lawrence Taylor played there. So he's got to be looking at this as, this is my last run as a coach. And I do not believe that he can afford, in the court of public opinion, to bail on UNC like so many people think is going to happen based on the buyout language. Again, if I'm wrong, there you go. I'm wrong. I think he is here, but I think this is a 3-year deal, 4 at the outside, and then it's somebody else's program to run. Maybe we'll find out over time that it's his son's. I don't know. I really don't. But my feeling is that Belichick, this is a transactional move on the part of the university, which hopes to use Belichick's expertise in the game to establish a program that becomes a portal destination and a place where, once again, the best players in the state of North Carolina go. There was a time where they went to UNC. Not all of them. The majority of them went to UNC. And we'll see if they can do that. We have no idea if it's going to work. I'm not going to ask Dave Doeren for his thoughts on that. But later on, about 90 minutes from now, when we're talking with NC State's head coach, I know he's got a good relationship with Bill. Wonder if Bill reached out. Hey, say, Dave, how would you like a neighbor? Is there a spot like next to Dave in the cul-de-sac?
Right? Smoke some cigars, drink some bourbon.
Go, yeah, right. go to see some country music shows
with your cutoff sweatshirt.
Do a little fly fishing. Yeah, well, I'm sure Doeren has them.
Yeah,
I'm sure Doeren has them. So look, I don't know how it's going to work out. But I think this is one of the great experiments that we have ever seen in modern college sports history. And I think it will be fascinating. Right away, it's going to be fascinating. I hope it works because I want fun. But if it doesn't work, fun's not the right word, it will be interesting to chronicle regardless of how it goes one way or the other.
Yeah. UNC still in the spotlight, though, for a while at least.
No, they will be.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was listening to, I think it was Richard Deitch's sports media podcast, and I think he had on Austin Karp from Sports Business Journal, and they were talking about the amount of attention that UNC football is about to get in year one under Belichick, and that it will resemble, might not be quite as crazy, but will resemble what happened at Colorado with Deion Sanders. Now, they came out of the chute, they won their first 3 games, and then I think they finished 4-8 in year one. It was a disaster, really. And after they started losing, that's when the national media, all right, we're done. We're done paying close attention. Now, they jumped back on board this year. Colorado had a good year. But expect in year one a lot of eyeballs on UNC, and if they win enough games, those eyeballs will be there all year. I believe they open against TCU. That game would have otherwise been a 3:30 game in week 1, and I'll be shocked if that isn't an ESPN. Now, I don't know what the schedule is like on week 1, right? But that long weekend, that Labor Day weekend, that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, there's 5 days. I will be surprised if that game ultimately isn't a primetime game one of those nights. Primetime. We're opening up under the lights against TCU. So, could be fun. All right, when we come back, the new coach. Is he a new coach? Blake Harrell. Is Blake Harrell the new coach? Because he's got 5 games under his belt already.
New-ish.
New-ish, right. Blake Harrell, head coach, East Carolina, next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Tonight's forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Aho scores! Shorthanded! Sebastian Aho gets Carolina on the board.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 7. Puck drop at 7:30.
Kotkaniemi with a drive, he scores! Kotkaniemi picks the far corner, and the Canes go up 4-1.
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, and we're here. The NBA's in-season tournament finale is tonight. You've got the Bucks, who started the season horribly but are playing great today, against the Thunder, who might be the best team in the entire league. So, because we love the NBA and FanDuel is an official sportsbook partner of the NBA, let's get on board. New customers, bet $5, win that bet, get $150 in bonus bets if that first bet wins. That's right. FanDuel.com/AdamGold for your chance to score $150 in bonus bets. FanDuel.com/AdamGold. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Max wager amount applies. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms for both offers at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
It's bow time. 'Tis the season for food and family, but thanks to Bojangles, you don't have to spend hours in the kitchen when loved ones come home for the holidays. Set down the spatula and put away the mixing bowls, because this holiday season, Bojangles is ready to help you celebrate with all your family favorites like Chicken Supreme, Cajun Filet Biscuits, or a big bow box of hand-breaded chicken, scratch-made biscuits, and fixins for the whole family. We'll make the food so you can focus on making memories. Head to Bojangles and gift yourself a taste of home. It's bow time.
If it's ho-ho-ho time, it's Bo-Bo-Bo time. Time to order a party-sized platter of that bodacious Bojangles flavor before your next holiday celebration. Choose a Bojangles Supremes platter and get 50 whole breast tenderloin fillets. Or go with a Bojangles dessert platter and get 2 dozen Bo-Berry biscuits, 2 dozen cinnamon twists, or 1 dozen of each. It's a platter full of Bo-liciousness. And don't forget to pick up Bojangles gift cards. Just the right gift for anyone on your list. Hurry, it's Bo time.
This is a story of the one.
As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Introducing a product that redefines living well.
Luxury.
Designed to satisfy your wildest desires.
Extravagance.
Overflowing with suspense, dripping with wealth.
Fortune.
The $8 million moneymaker from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With prices that start at $100 and go up to $8 million. Every win's a big win.
Whisper.
Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 4.14. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
This is Adam Gold.
Yeah, but he's real patient, like he said in his interview today.
In all other aspects of life.
Yes.
If he's in line at the drive-thru and it's taking a long time, he will not ram the car in front of him.
Exactly. Someone's pressing his shirt. He will wait 30 seconds for it to be crisper.
The Adam Gold Show.
Blake Harrell is the new. You're not even the new head coach anymore. It's like you don't even have the new car smell. Blake Harrell, the head coach at East Carolina, has to feel new, though, doesn't it?
It feels good. Is what it feels. It's a privilege and honor to be the head football coach here at East Carolina, and an honor I cherish every minute of the day. And right now, as you said, it doesn't feel new because it's go. Whether you're working on recruiting, putting your staff together, or preparing for a bowl game, there's a lot to get done in a day.
As a local guy, you know what this position means to the people of Greenville. I mean, not from Greenville, but you know what this position means to fans and the community and how important this program is?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the state of North Carolina. I was a high school coach in the state of North Carolina. I was actually in the Wake County area at one time and got my first defensive coordinator job in Wake County. But I've always grown up in the state, had a lot of respect for East Carolina, and then living here for the last 5 years, definitely understand the pride in the 252 in Eastern North Carolina and what East Carolina not only means to Greenville, but to this area, and how much different it is when you have winning football and the football program is playing well, and just what that means to our stadium and our town and our community, and it can be a big part of that.
Yeah, it stretches. I would say that East Carolina football territory stretches almost all the way to where I am right now in Raleigh, and it goes all the way to the coast. I mean, you get half the state just about that are, absolutely dialed in to what's going on at Dowdy-Ficklin. And it's been a minute since the Pirates have been what they were used to being, which is, one of those teams. Oh, we don't want to play them. How do you get it back?
Well, it's like you said, east of 95, there sure is a lot of purple and gold, and that's a great feeling. And won 7 games this year and finished off the season 4-1. Almost had a chance to be 5-0. Made a few mistakes in the last ball game, but that's the same type of momentum we got to take in the next season. And our goal is not just to get to a bowl game. Our goal is, conference championships and play the best football we can play. And obviously, if you go win a conference championship in the American Conference, you're going to have an opportunity to possibly be in the playoff hunt too. It's just the American Conference is one of the top G5 conferences in the country, and you're going to be ranked pretty high and in the top 25 and have a chance to be that top G5 ranking and make a playoff. But it all starts not with the outcome, starts in the process. So we got to focus on the process, and right now the process is building a roster for 2025, building the staff for 2025, as well as retention of our players. So a lot going on right now, and the process is going to determine the outcome and getting back to the pride of East Carolina and packing out Dowdy-Ficklin and putting us back on the map where we should be.
Blake Harrell is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. You led me into what I wanted to ask you about anyway. In the changing landscape of the sport, and we can get to the mechanics of roster building and all of that in a minute. But the fact that now, in the current playoff climate, if you win the American, you've got a legit chance to be in the playoff. How does that change? How does that change the way you view your non-conference schedule and all of that?
Yeah, I mean, fortunately or unfortunately, we have two Power 4 teams next year. We got NC State and BYU, and it used to be like, hey, you want to schedule as many of those guys as possible, and go take a shot at them, and go have some real rivalries within the area of Greenville. Of East Carolina, and whether you play in NC State, North Carolina, Virginia Tech, South Carolina, within that region. But now you got to also be smart about your scheduling because it's about winning games and about your ranking, and obviously you got to go take care of business in the conference. But I think take Boise State for instance, their non-conference slate. They went 3-1. Their one loss being to Oregon. And then ran the table in the conference, and they're ending up not only in the playoff, but they're ending up with a first round bye. I mean, and you look at their schedule; it's a pretty good schedule of their opponents and what they got. Road to get to the Final Four as well. So, and that's the same. You can't really focus on the end process, the end outcome. You got to focus on the process. And right now it's NC State in the bowl game. Then game one next year it'll be NC State and then Campbell after that, Coastal Carolina, then BYU at home. So, and then our conference is tough. I mean, you got Memphis, who was spending a ton of money. Tulane's a good football program right now, and some others that are doing a heck of a job. So it's a tough conference.
Well, let me get to the mechanics of how you build a roster going forward. And I spoke with Dowell Loggins, who's the new coach at App. And he's talking, and like I asked him about it, and he goes, I have this spreadsheet in front of me with NIL money and where we're allocating it. How professional like is it, do you think?
It's very much NFL model based to me. I just hired a general manager. He'll actually first day on the job will be tomorrow, and I'm going to turn all that collective NIL money over to him and tell him to deal with it. But I don't want our players to come and see the head coach for that. Or our incoming players. I want them to go see the GM, just like the NFL. Because to me, as soon as you do it, you're dealing with the dollars as the head coach, and you're overseeing that aspect of it or have any hand in it. It kind of takes the coach-player relationship out of it, and I want to make sure we keep that. We keep that part of it pure. And much like the NFL, hey, you go see the front office for those type of things, and the head coach is coaching football and taking care of the football side of things.
How much of your roster building will be, high school recruiting, and how much will be portal?
Yeah, we've signed about, we signed 18 high school kids. We got two other guys will be here as well, so 20 high school kids, and I'm expecting to have about 20 new portal kids as well. So about half and half, and I think that's what you got to do. Like you're going to lose some older guys, and some of those guys. I think we got 18 guys in the portal right now. Four of them started and played for us. Three of them started and played a lot. One of them played a lot. So everybody looks at the numbers like, oh, they lost 18 guys. Well, some of those guys are going in looking for other opportunities, places they can get on the field and do a better job of contributing and being productive. Some of those guys are just kind of the bottom of your roster or wasn't being productive, and you just kind of had to move on from them. So, and that's where you got to constantly be pushing forward with your roster to improve it, to make it better in all aspects. And obviously we'd like to hold on those 4 kids, but if we're losing guys to, a program that can pay them a lot more money, or we lose a coach that can pay them a lot more money, you're probably doing something right. I mean, if you're losing nobody, you're probably doing something wrong, and something's got to be an issue. But if you're losing a couple guys a year to a better program that can pay them a lot more money, you feel like you're doing something right. I don't think we're going to see the loyalty and guys staying around for 5 years in one program, that may be a thing of the past. And if you think about it, we don't see NFL players staying with one organization for their whole career anymore. We used to see that all the time when we were kids, and now there'll be a couple years here, then a couple years there, and they're bouncing around from place to place. So I think that's going to become the norm in college football as well.
When we were kids, you're significantly younger than I am. You're like a kid. Blake Harrell, the head coach at East Carolina, joining us because Mike Houston, was obviously instrumental in you getting to East Carolina. Has it made the transition more difficult? How has that gone for you? Because obviously you feel bad that it didn't work out for Mike, and you get a great opportunity as a result. But how does that work?
Yeah, I owe Coach Houston everything. I would not be at East Carolina and not have had the opportunity here if it wasn't for him and his mentorship and everything he's meant to me and just a friendship that he's had. And I said from day one, like, this thing might be easier if I was going somewhere else to start my own program somewhere else. I may have a lot of similarities to what Coach Houston did, or then you're hiring your staff, and you're not having to make decisions of the current staff. And that's kind of just the little things we got to navigate through and restructure some things and move guys around or, move on from whatever it may be. But at the same time, we got to make sure we're setting ourselves up for success in the future. And it's got to be Blake Harrell's team, Blake Harrell's identity. I say that and very carefully. I always want it to be about us, never me or I.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm got to be the one in charge and one responsible for it. But I want it to be our team and East Carolina's team and something Pirate Nation can be proud of.
So you open next season with NC State. You close this season with NC State in the Military Bowl. First of all, Annapolis is just a gorgeous spot. Great spot for a bowl game. What are your thoughts on the bowl game and it being a rivalry game?
Yeah, I mean, fired up to be back in a bowl game, being in Annapolis, a Military Bowl, which they treat you right up there. They do a great job.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 28, 5:45 ESPN game, so the game of the night. And to be playing a rivalry up the road, hour and 15, hour and a half up the road is pretty cool, pretty special. A lot of our players know a lot of the players on that roster and vice versa. And our fans are neighbors with NC State fans and vice versa. So there's a lot of similarities within the two programs, but a lot of rivalry within the two programs. And we're just fired up to go play another football game and have another opportunity to play. And getting to play against NC State makes it special as well.
So just a big picture, because it might not have impacted your program as much as maybe some others. I mean, I'll use an example of Duke. Duke has two quarterbacks. They're both in the portal. Duke's going to play a bowl game. No idea who's going to be their quarterback. They might call me. That would be a bad idea, but I don't know who's left. With the portal and the bowl season, that just doesn't seem like a tenable, calendar, an ideal calendar makeup to me.
There's no question. We don't have free agency in the NFL during the playoffs, do we? So the fact we're having it in college football is just asinine. But I'm not sure how many people out there listen to me, but, we got to somehow get that curved and fixed and figured out. I don't know if it should be contracts in college football, if we should, move our portal windows. It seems like every 6 months we make rules changes, and then we figure out 6 months later that was a bad rule change or a bad adjustment, and then we got to try to fix it back. I wish we'd just sit back and let it be for a couple of years and then figure out exactly the direction we need to go with it. But, some of that the court systems regulating and dealing with, and everybody's afraid of lawsuits. But, we wish we had a commissioner of college football, and we'd start doing it one way and go through it that way. But maybe one day we'll get there.
All right, final question for you, and this is very, very serious. Are you a real or an artificial Christmas tree person?
Well, I love the smell and the look of a real tree. Just a lot of cleanup. So we got 2 artificial trees in our house right now. I honestly have no say in that. My wife does all that. She takes care of the decorating, putting it up, taking it down, and she is awesome. She's the head coach at home. So whatever she's happy with, I better be happy with.
She's the head coach at home. Does she have a headset?
Well, no, she don't need a headset. She just yells at me.
Congratulations on the gig. Good luck against NC State on the 28th, and we will talk to you very soon. Coach Blake Harrell at East Carolina. Thanks.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me on. Merry Christmas.
He was good. Hope he does very well.
It's just like Rod, too. He doesn't have any say in it. It's like whatever the wife wants. It's smart. I mean, that's smart. That's a good approach.
I mean, I can relate.
Yeah, especially if they're going to clean up. Like, Coach Blake said, his wife, she cleans it up. It's like one of those things. What do you want for dinner? I don't know. But if you're going to make it, I'll suffer. I'll eat whatever.
Here's the I get asked a lot for my opinion.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I give it.
You could say it.
I don't always give it. Sometimes it doesn't bother. It doesn't matter to me one way or the other. Whatever you like. That's
right.
fine.
It's really just an
and
addition.
that's not the answer. I know that's not the answer to give, but I give it anyway. And then after I give it, I'm like, I regret it. Like, no, I should have offered something because it doesn't really matter.
Yes.
And I apologize. My wife might be listening now, and I'm in so much trouble. It's not even funny.
It's all in love.
Yes, of course it is. So what we should do is stop talking about it and do top 5, bottom 5. All right. Do you have a preference, Victoria?
Let's just get the ugly out of the way.
Okay, we'll do it. We'll start at number 28. We'll start with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Oof. You lost to the Jets. Pretty much ends it right there.
Yeah.
You get into bottom 5 status simply by losing to the Jets. Look, I'm not a Jets fan. I do have an interest in watching them flame out. I have really, really enjoyed the circus that the Jets are. But I was having this discussion. That same person was asking me about Belichick. We were talking about the league, and this person happens to be a Commanders fan. We were talking about the Jets, too, and he knew I used to be a Jets fan back in the day. And he said, well, I mean, that team isn't very good. And I'm like, I don't know. I actually think they're not great.
Yeah.
But if you look at the Jets personnel, there's only one thing. Well, there's two things holding the Jets back.
So much potential.
Other than the Jets, the fact that they are the Jets. The first thing is that this is really more since Robert Saleh was fired. They're poorly coached.
Mm-hmm.
The current head coach is basically looks like he's the trainer at your gym. Whatever his name is, Jeff Ulbrecht, something like that. He does. He looks like the guy who's got a little notebook, and he's charting your Romanian deadlifts, and he's got this big jug of water.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, yeah, the protein shakes.
It's got all that, right? He's there, and he's making sure your form is right.
Mm-hmm.
Nathaniel Hackett is the offensive coordinator, and the quarterback is washed.
Yeah.
Occasionally, he's good. Aaron Rodgers, even within games, he's sort of like Pyotr Kochetkov. Like, man, he's capable of all sorts of spectacular. And then, how did you not make that throw? We've seen that tons of this season from Rodgers. The quarterback is what's holding the Jets back. I don't know how we got into a conversation about the Jets other than the Jaguars just lost to them. We move on. Number 29. The Chicago Bears, who are have 4 wins. There are teams with fewer wins than the Bears that are not in the bottom 5. But anybody that has watched the Bears, Chicago fans will agree. If you've watched them, you know just how bad they are. Because that's another team that has enough talent to be halfway decent.
Also bad coaching.
Well, yes, gone.
Terrible. Yes.
Fired coaching.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Matt Eberflus was okay with how they managed the clock at the end of that game says to me, and I said this at the time, he wanted to be fired. How do I get fired? Let me just detonate the last 30 seconds of this game and then pretend that I was good with it so I can get out because I don't want to be the Bears coach anymore. Number 29. Number 30, the Raiders. See, the head coach, Antonio Pierce, was asked what he's going to do like for the rest of the week. He's like, man, we need prayers.
Wow.
It's come to that.
Okay.
It has come to that.
You and Jameis Winston just
right.
throwing up prayers out there for wins.
No, he was
and
throwing
no
up,
pick sixes.
No pick sixes. He was praying.
They're in the same prayer circle.
We talked about this, right?
Yes.
That's like the soundbite of the year. There's no better soundbite than Jameis Winston praying
I know.
for no more pick sixes.
Please, no more pick sixes.
Please, Lord.
Amen.
Lord, please deliver me from pick sixes.
Yes.
So good. That was such a terrible imitation of Jameis Winston. Number 31, the New England Patriots. We knew this at the beginning of the year. Remember? They had the longest odds in the AFC. The bookmakers knew that was the worst team. I don't know that there is, all respect to the Raiders, who are trying to be the worst team and have a worse record than the Patriots. They ain't worse than the Patriots.
No.
Patriots are the worst team. They're 3-11. And I don't think they can get the first pick in the draft, but they don't need it. They probably have their quarterback, right? And number 32, the Giants. The Giants are just pathetic.
I was going to say the Titans are giving all of them a run for their money because the
Yeah.
Titans are so bad.
Titans are bad. And I considered the Titans, and I would have put them in over the Jaguars, except the Titans did.
Because
actually,
they
the
lost
Titans,
to the Jaguars without Trevor Lawrence.
They did. The Titans also lost to the Jets, too, both of those teams.
Yes.
I should have put them as a tie. Real quick, I saw this stat. The Giants at MetLife Stadium, and I have not done this research, so if this is inaccurate, please don't get mad at me, but I have not confirmed this myself. The Giants' last win at MetLife Stadium, which is where they play their home games, was in January of this year. So at the very end of last season was when the Giants won a game on their home field. The Rangers, the New York Rangers, who right now stink, like not even playoff good, the Rangers, no joke. The Rangers have won more recently at MetLife Stadium because they played an outdoor game in like February and won it at MetLife. And there you go. Rangers have a more recent win at MetLife than the Giants do. Absolutely fantastic. All right, you ready for the top 5?
Yes.
This is where the good stuff is. Number 5, the Green Bay Packers, 10-4. First, let me ask this question. Did you watch last night, by the way, the Vikings Bears?
I did.
What is it about the NFC and all white uniforms?
I know.
I dig it. Packers white helmet, little unsettling.
Yes.
But the Vikings white helmet, I didn't get it.
Hated, and all I kept saying when I first saw it was they look like they should be like little board pieces in a football board game. That would be like the one team would be that, whatever that uniform was.
They looked like, I thought they looked like stormtroopers. Like it was Star Wars.
They did.
It was just no good. Anyway, so I looked it up. The Toyotathon runs through January 6th. Thank you very much to Will Brinson. The Toyotathon runs through January 6th, which covers the rest of the regular season. So I think the Packers are going to finish 13-4. How would you like to finish 13-4 and finish third in your division? That's what's going to happen.
Not the NFC South.
No. 13-4 would be more wins than two teams combined.
I know.
In that division. But the Packers right now come in number 5. Number 4, the 12-2 Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not entirely sure why there are so many doubters, because I understand defense has been shaky at times, but hasn't every team had shaky moments, one side of the ball or not? It just seems to me that the Eagles are being judged to a different standard than everybody else.
Yeah, could be their past playoff performances because sometimes they kind of
got
wane
to the
down.
Super Bowl in year one under Nick Sirianni. I mean, it can't be that bad. So, yeah, it didn't go well last year. Jalen Hurts, I think the Eagles are a team that probably needs to have the lead because Jalen Hurts hasn't proven to be a good passer when you know he's passing.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, they can beat you in a lot of different ways.
Just Barkley.
Yeah, but Hurts is part of that running game.
Yeah.
They've got two outstanding receivers, both healthy and a tight. Like, they've got a lot of pieces. The defense is occasionally porous, but it's also been occasionally great. And they've beaten a lot of good teams, too.
Mm-hmm.
They've won 10 in a row. Look at the teams they have beaten in this 10-game winning streak. There are not a lot of cupcakes there. Now, they closed the season with some cupcakes, although they will have to play at Washington this week. But they're Dallas and the Giants are both at home. I mean, the Eagles aren't going to finish worse than 13-4.
Yeah.
Rather 14-3. They're beating the Giants and Dallas at home unless everything is decided and they don't have to win.
A second string or something.
Fourth string.
Yeah.
They're bringing up academy players.
Exactly.
That's a soccer deal. Anyway, so the Eagles come in at number 4. Number 3 is the Lions. Now, they were number 1 last week for me.
Yeah.
They gave up 48 to the Bills, but it's more about who's hurt right now.
All the defense. Just
Everybody's
all of them.
hurt. Now, I did see the story that they actually expect Aiden Hutchinson back for the Super Bowl.
Right.
You don't get a bye to the Super Bowl,
You
though.
don't.
So you got to get there.
Somehow.
And the Lions, because there are 3 teams that are 12-2 right now. The Lions, the Eagles, and the Vikings. So right now, the Lions, with all their injuries, we don't know if they're even going to get the bye. So if they have to play 3 games just to get to the Super Bowl, that doesn't do you any good for Aiden Hutchinson to be back in the Super Bowl, and it's probably no better than 50-50 that he does come back. Anyway.
Yeah. And they have the Bears and then the 49ers.
Yeah, but the 49ers are done.
Yeah, they are done.
49ers, you could
The Bears should be done, too.
They're both done.
But.
Stick a fork in both. All right, so number 2, they keep winning, and they are 13-1. And for the second straight week, the Kansas City Chiefs are not in the number 1 spot. If you saw Patrick Mahomes struggle to get off the field, here's what you know. Do I believe that Patrick Mahomes will be ready for their first playoff game? Yes, I do. Because they're not going to fall that far. But it's very possible that they will not have the bye. And it's also possible that they would play a Denver or a Los Angeles Chargers team in that first game, which means it's a divisional opponent, and divisional opponents are trickier than others. The Chiefs are in a little bit of a tough spot, and Carson Wentz isn't great, he says very sarcastically. I don't anticipate we're going to see Mahomes this week. That looked like too much of an issue for me. Now, he may play, but here's where we're getting to. Steelers fans will understand what I'm talking about here. How many years in a row did we get to the end of the season and Ben Roethlisberger was running around like he was walking on glass? He could barely run because both feet hurt all the time. Lost in this, Mike Tomlin hasn't won a Super Bowl, but can't win playoff games. When he's had a healthy quarterback, a good healthy quarterback, the Steelers have always been a difficult out. But in the last, I'd say, 5 years of Ben Roethlisberger, by the time they got to the playoffs, he was broken. Couldn't be good. And they haven't had a good quarterback since Ben, and I'm not sure they have one now. Another story altogether. But I'm worried that Patrick Mahomes might not be good enough in time to take advantage of the rest of that team. And again, they have some issues offensively, but their defense is still elite. By the way, their point differential for being 13-1, It's only plus 70.
Oh.
Yeah, I've talked about this before. They have won 3 games this year that they probably should have lost, and every game seems to be close. It's just not a recipe. It's not a recipe for being, for getting to a Super Bowl, just getting by. And that's really what they've done. All right, number 1, Josh Allen.
Yes, just Josh.
Not even the Bills.
No.
I don't care. I know Shakir had a good game. Matt Collins has been good. James Cook, the running back, has been good. Defense is fine. No, man, this is about Josh Allen. All right, numbers. 36 touchdowns. It's 25 rushing. 25 passing. 11 rushing. 11 rushing touchdowns. Just
insane.
Stop it. He has 5 interceptions. He has not lost a fumble this year. 5 turnovers.
Impressive.
5 turnovers. Oh, by the way, I didn't count his receiving touchdown. He's got 37 touchdowns. Right? Because he has a receiving touchdown officially.
He does.
He's about 600 yards passing from 4,000 yards. He's, 15 yards or so from 500 yards rushing. It is insane.
Yeah.
What he has done to the AFC this year.
No one's beating him in the MVP race.
And they go New England, Jets, New England. So this is where, if you're the Bills, the incentive, because you're 2 games behind the Chiefs, you've beaten the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
If the Bills can finish 14-3, it puts a little pressure on Kansas City here to win 2 out of 3 and stay ahead. And here's who Kansas City has left. The Texans, not going to be easy.
No.
The Steelers,
No.
not going to be easy. The Broncos, not going to be easy. And the last 2 games are on the road.
Wow, and they probably won't have Mahomes, at least for one.
My guess is they won't have Mahomes this week.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, you can't let him try to play through this.
Yeah.
You need him healthy so you can get through the playoffs. Because if he's healthy, you obviously have a good chance of getting through the playoffs. But a limping Patrick Mahomes, it's a different story since he makes a lot of plays late in games with his legs. And you don't want him, basically, they're talking about it being a high ankle sprain. That looked like a problem to me.
And a reoccurring problem, too. He's had those a lot.
Yeah, he's played through them.
Yes. But
This
that's usually like playoff games or the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
You don't
this
want him
one
doing
looked
that.
bad, though.
Yeah.
This one looked bad. But Josh Allen is the best team in the NFL. All right. He is. He is the best team in the NFL.
It's true.
When we come back, we will stretch and we will place bets. I've given you another winner. Back-to-back Premier League winners. We gave you Man United on Friday. We gave you a Bournemouth-West Ham draw yesterday. There is no Premier League match today, so there will be no winners. But we'll talk about it next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Trust ACT Construction Equipment and Bandit Wood Chippers and Stump Grinders to position your tree service for success. ACT Construction Equipment is your authorized dealer for sales, service, parts, and rentals for Bandit Wood Chippers and Stump Grinders. ACT Construction Equipment has been your authorized dealer for Bandit equipment for over 10 years. Visit one of our 6 North and South Carolina locations or actce.com for more details on Bandit Wood Chippers and Stump Grinders. ACT Construction Equipment, always the right equipment for the job.
I'm Faith. I work as an American Sign Language interpreter, and I just graduated from my bachelor's program. I texted 988 because at the moment where I needed help, I realized that I didn't have access to English at the moment. Sometimes speaking gets hard for me, and they just helped me calm down, and then I was able to find a friend. It's free, and you can get in touch with people who are trained to help through all sorts of crises.
Call, text, or chat 988 24/7.
As public power customers, we experience fewer outages and faster restoration than customers of other electric providers. But the benefits of having a locally owned electric system go far beyond unbeaten reliability. Our local public power employees support our community, providing electric hookups for events, installing and maintaining ballpark lights, holiday lights, traffic lights, street lights, and more. Local people working together to meet local needs. That's the value of public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
Healthcare.gov has plans for health because you have plans for life. All plans cover doctor visits and emergency care to keep you and your family running strong. All plans cover hospital stays and prescriptions so you can have peace of mind. Visit healthcare.gov to explore health plans from the brands you know. 4 out of 5 customers can find a health plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Final deadline to enroll is January 15th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
As fall championships begin, the Governor's Highway Safety Program would like to remind you to buckle your seatbelt when traveling home from today's events. Whether you're driving out of town or across town this holiday season, wearing a seatbelt is your best defense against injury or death in a crash. During the busiest time of travel, prioritize your safety and buckle up. Every seat, every time. And remember, click it or ticket. It's the law. This message brought to you by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and the Governor's Highway Safety Program.
AARP is working hard to make sure people in North Carolina are getting the most out of life. Whether it's helping you stay healthy, save more money, care for loved ones, or simply have some fun, AARP is making a difference in communities across the state. You have a wise friend and fierce defender with AARP. Learn more about progress being made for older adults in the state by listening to AARP Without Limits. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
You wouldn't ask your mechanic to help stage your property for an open house. As NC Realtors, we're experts who make buying or selling property easier for you. Using the latest technology and armed with local insights, our realtors help you find properties you would want to call home. We also know which details make your property more attractive to other buyers. From start to finish, our realtors know. Find out more at ncrealtorsknow.com.
I am Bruno Hinojosa and I live in Asheville. I work in construction and I just enrolled in NC Medicaid. I went to their website, applied, and got covered. Doctor visits, yearly checkups, and even emergency care if I need it. Being a business owner can be stressful at times, but knowing that I got covered, it just takes weight off my shoulders. And I can get the care that I need when I need it at low or no cost. And it's one less thing I need to worry about now.
NC Medicaid is for more people. See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
This is Adam Gold.
Home runs are homers, not dingers, not jacks, not bombs. Can I use tater?
No. Can we say going yard?
Oh, yes.
Right?
If we can't exaggerate, if we can't use colorful, flowery metaphors and descriptions, why are we here?
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. We got hoops tonight. The NBA League Cup, or whatever they're calling it, NBA Cup championship game is tonight. Bucks and Thunder. Thunder might be the best team in the entire league. My son's playing fantasy basketball, and he keeps screaming, this guy's got this guy, he's got 9 assists. Oh, I'm like, I
haven't ventured down the fantasy basketball leagues.
I think the NBA is a great box score league. It's dynamite. And I used to play fantasy basketball when I was in college.
Okay.
So it was a long time ago. I was on the rotisserie baseball craze and the rotisserie basketball craze as an early 20-year-old person. Not so into it these days, although I do have to check my fantasy football roster. All right, let's stretch.
Okay, so one thing that some people check is their sugar because, for health things.
Sure.
But researchers, this might be good news just in time for Christmas, researchers have tracked some sugar intake for about 70,000 people, and sweets might actually be good for you.
What?
So
of course they are.
They looked at.
There's cake. Speaking of, there's cake in the break room.
There's a really good cake in there because we celebrated November birthdays today in the office. But looking at 3 different sources, these researchers did sugary toppings like honey, sweets like cookies, and sweetened drinks like sodas. And of course, they found that too much sugar, especially in drinks, can, make you at risk for a heart attack or a stroke. But they were also surprised to see that people who completely cleaned it out, did not have any sugar whatsoever, no sweets, was actually a bad thing for you too. So there's a nice medium. They say that it could be something, where people who maybe cut out all the sugar had other health issues too, and that could be why there was some problems.
Mm-hmm.
But they do say a low sugar intake may be necessary and or beneficial for those. So don't feel bad eating those Christmas cookies like we were anyway, because calories don't count for the holidays.
No, they don't.
That's my philosophy. But, my philosophy, too, is to hopefully make some good bets.
Hope so.
Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
All right, I did. I gave you a plus 310 winner yesterday.
Nice.
I lost both of the football games, but doesn't really matter. We gave you one winner.
I went 2 for 3. Justin Jefferson was an anytime touchdown score, plus 105, and the first half total was under 22.5. That was minus 15. So hopefully that was in your parlay.
It was an anytime touchdown dropper too.
I know, but I still won my fantasy
There
league,
you
so
go.
we're good. But tonight, all on the ice. Canes versus Islanders at home, Lenovo Center. Hockey night in Carolina. Give me a Sebastian Aho anytime goal score, because why not? Plus 185.
All right. So let me start with college basketball. North Carolina and Florida are playing in Charlotte tonight. UNC is plus money inside the state.
Wow.
I know they played Alabama and they lost. Give me the Tar Heels. Outright winner tonight. They have to win. Got to win a good game. Give me the Tar Heels outright winner at plus 140.
Nice. Well, last but not least, the Canes versus Islanders. For me, anyway, give me the Canes to get a win at home, and I'll take the over 5.5. Might be high scoring. That's plus 145.
All right, I'm going to give you Hurricanes. I know. I'm going to buy you a win. Give me the Islanders at plus 205, but a Jackson Blake anytime goal at plus 450.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Are you looking for the perfect holiday gift? Did you know that Bailey's has something for everybody and every budget? Sure, we're known for our designer jewelry, fine diamonds, and luxury watches, but we also have a vast selection of beautiful jewelry and gifts under $500. You can make a piece of our Bailey's collection yours this Christmas. Add a little sparkle with the popular Icon Collection Tiny Diamond Hoops in either white, rose, or yellow gold for $395. For only $250, check out our beautiful Sterling Collection Diamonds by the Yard bracelet. Or select one of our Bailey's perfect layering necklaces. For $325, our Gold Mark Station necklace, or for only $275, our Icon Puffed Heart pendant. We're celebrating over 75 years of making holiday gifting easy. You can shop online at baileybox.com, or we invite you to visit one of our locations in Raleigh, Cary, Rocky Mount, and Greenville to see why every woman wants a Bailey box under the tree.
During the Ram Wrap-Up the Year sales event, take advantage of huge deals on a wide selection of built-to-serve Ram trucks. And right now, finance and get $8,500 total cash allowance on the 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab. Go to ram.com and hurry to your local Ram dealer for $8,500 total cash allowance on the 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab. Hurry to the Ram Wrap-Up the Year sales event today. Financing for well-qualified buyers through Stellantis Financial. Not all customers will qualify. Residency restrictions apply. Take delivery by 1/2/25.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and may I help you? Yes, may I help you get rid of contact lenses and glasses forever? Actually, Dr. Lori Travers and Travers LASIK can help you get rid of contact lenses and glasses forever. All you have to do is call 919-510-6830. The consultation is free. You can make that appointment online, traverslasik.com. Get rid of contacts and glasses glasses, and all the related inconveniences and costs forever. Travers LASIK, 919-510-6830. See what you've been missing.
Fruitcake! You shouldn't have. Wow, a candle.
Spread joy, not junk, with the Autobell Car Wash Holiday Sale. Visit Autobell to buy one Super Poly Process Wash and get one 40% off.
Experience a Raleigh tradition. Head to Amedio's Italian Restaurant, a family favorite for over 60 years. From weekly specials to their famous homemade recipes, Amedio's uses only the freshest ingredients. Need a touchdown for your tailgate? Amedio's offers delicious takeout, perfect for cheering on the Wolfpack. Or they can host your private party. Amedio's even caters. Amedio's Italian Restaurant, Raleigh's Taste of Italy since 1963. Visit AmediosRestaurant.com for details.
Thanks to Total Wine, you saved more on all the gifts for the ones you adore. Wine, spirits, beers, all nestled on shelves. Got some advice from our helpful elves. Oh, so many gifts to explore when you go to Total Wine and more. Bottles so delightful, whoa. Priced so amazingly low.
Curbside pickup and delivery available, and the lowest prices for over 30 years only at Total Wine and More.
Drink responsibly.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to HIMSS.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I just think when you play a team like the Eagles in that cross-state rivalry, and you get you just get your face, you just get punched in the face. You have 2 possessions in the second half. It just says a lot about where you stand with the other heavyweights in the NFL. The Steelers also really open themselves up in that division now with Baltimore there. So, I still think the Chargers will find a way in, but I think the Steelers is more meaningful from a bigger perspective about what it says about that team and how they're going to fare in the postseason when they have to play these big dogs.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Man, we are dangerously close to the holiday. A week from tomorrow, Santa comes down the chimney. Week from tomorrow. I'm not ready. I am not ready. I know who has more time to shop for holiday gifts now. I was, in retrospect, I shouldn't be. But I guess it was the timing as much as anything else that surprised me. So we're a good 4 weeks after the end of the regular season in football. Today is the 17th. Not 4 weeks. 3 weeks after the end of the regular season. Dave Clawson stepped down as head coach of Wake Forest yesterday. I mean, one of the more underrated, great head coaching jobs in all of college football over the last decade, a little bit more than a decade. 67-69 doesn't sound great until you realize that he's at Wake. But he called it a Wake career yesterday. He's going to stay on in an advisory role. Maybe he gets back into coaching. The guy's not even 60. I mean, that is surprising. Such a young guy. I mean, he's younger than me. He is, right? He's 57. Conor O'Neill, also younger than me. Deacons Illustrated, and I've been perusing. His byline is on everything on Deacons Illustrated, as it should be. because he's a nominee for the North Carolina Sports Writer of the Year award. And good luck to you on that, sir. Did this surprise you yesterday?
It's a simple question with a complicated answer, which I'm not sure makes for the best radio.
That's fine. Let's try. Let's hash it out.
If you asked me if this was coming a month ago, I would have said yes. I thought it was coming. Just based on the way Dave has talked the last year or so, the challenges and hurdles that come with trying to coach in this day and age at a place like Wake Forest. But if you asked me within the scope of the last 3 weeks, I would have said no. In the last 2 press conferences going into games this year, he sounded kind of re-energized and rejuvenated with some of the things that he had been told by Wake's administration about how much support he'd have going forward with revenue sharing. And that was almost like this dangled carrot of, okay, just get through the end of this season, obviously try to win the last 2 games and get to a bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's there. They're not going to have a level playing field, because when have college athletics ever had a level playing field? But he likened revenue sharing to at least moving the competitive balance closer to what it was pre-pay for play and pre-world of collectives that we live in now. And before all that stuff, Wake Forest was ranked in the top 10 in a couple of years in the CFP, and they were going to 7 straight bowl games and winning a bunch of in-state games, and they were a well-oiled machine. So Dave sounded re-energized by all that. And then, come to find out today, it's almost like he was trying to fire himself back up, but it really wasn't there. And so for the last week or week and a half, this has really been kind of coming down the pipe with Dave. And yesterday, I think he went to John Curry, and John gave him one last pitch to try to stay on.
Right.
Because they say things in press conferences. Sometimes you don't put much stock in them. I find it pretty easy to believe that John Curry and President Susan Wente put a lot of not eggs in the basket, but spent a lot of time trying to convince Dave Clawson not to do this, and his mind was just kind of made up.
Conor O'Neill, Deacons Illustrated and Devils Illustrated, at Conor O'Neill _DI is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. See, I think that's the exact answer I would have given, and I mentioned it earlier, very open in the show. I said, I'm not surprised, but at the same time, I am now, because of the timing, because the portal opened, a quarterback from, Northern Illinois, popped out in Winston-Salem. So we got somebody out of the portal. I guess this goes to, we got the best players we can afford, right? Didn't that a quote from Dave Clawson at one of his press conferences earlier in the year? We got the best players we can afford. The portal's already open, and there's already a player coming out at Wake Forest. I was surprised that once that started, that he would step down, before getting a chance to coach these guys.
Yeah, I mean, he told us today that he had 10 recruits, portal guys at his house on Sunday for, I don't know. Wow. I don't know if he mentioned coffee or a brunch or some kind of recruiting function where, he's still recruiting up until he's just his heart's not in it anymore. The timing is never going to be perfect. I think, right. I guess in a perfect world, this was happening 2 weeks ago, and we're talking about it then. But you still run the same risk of losing your entire team to the portal. And based on the way things go, if a player is even 1% thinking of not playing at Wake Forest next year because he doesn't know who the coach is going to be, then he should enter the portal and make himself available to hear from everybody and anybody that would want him to play for their team. So, yeah, It's tough. I mean, it's tough being in the room today with so many assistant coaches and staff members that have been at Wake Forest for all 11 seasons that Dave has been there. I mean, there's not been like Dave Doeren had the really bad year in 2019 and recalibrated his staff with new coordinators. Dave has never had to do that. He's had defensive coordinators leave, and I think he's on his fourth one in 11 years, or was on his fourth one. But he's never had to go through that season where he gets the sense that it was either, hey, you're going to make some changes within your staff, or your job is going to be different. It's never been that. So it's an emotional time. That kind of goes without saying, I think, but still it's there and it's raw for Dave.
Conor O'Neill is joining us here in the Adam Gold Show. I'm gonna flip to Duke basketball in a second before we say goodbye, but I want to ask you about what is it about Wake Forest? They had Jim Grobe for a long time, and Grobe was a really good coach and won an ACC championship. And the records are pretty similar, right? Grobe, I think, was 77 and 82, so just 5 games under, and at Wake Forest, that's sneaky great. And Clawson was, I think, 67 and 69 in about the same, run in terms of length of stay. Again, sneaky great and what he did. And you could argue that Clawson did it in a better era with, like, the rise of Clemson. Even though Florida State was down, Grobe did it before Clemson became Clemson, and Florida State was sort of also in that weird period. But still, what is it about Wake? Is it the culture? Is it the alumni? Is it, I don't know, is it the barbecue? What is it in Winston-Salem, seriously, that has given them, I mean, almost 30 years, 25 years of very good football?
I think it's just a combination of how tight-knit the community is. There's some luck involved, and it's also how much those coaches have gotten support. I mean, Jim Grobe had enough reasons to turn down Nebraska. I think either right before or right after the Orange Bowl season in 2006. Dave Clawson talked extensively about how much better, and this not just today. I mean, this has been over the last 5 to 6 years when his name would pop up on searches. The most public one was Virginia Tech in 2021. I mean, the Wake Forest job got so much better from 11 years ago to the month that Dave Clawson was hired to now the position that he just resigned from. The facilities, if you time traveled back 11 years, you'd never understand how the facilities would have gotten to where they are today. With the indoor facility and the room where we actually had the press conference is a brand new facility, brand new as in like within the last 3 years it's been built. It's a remarkable commitment from a school that, everybody kind of likes to put down, for lack of a better term or lack of a more radio suitable term.
Right.
But Dave has been pretty steadfast in this, and it's hard to disagree with him. Like, everybody has this preconceived notion of what Wake Forest is and what, the smallest Power 5, now Power 4 conference schools football program was supposed to look like and what the infrastructure was supposed to be. And when it actually gets to campus and when you actually see what goes into that program, you're blown away. It exceeds all expectations that people have when they're coming in without any idea of what they're walking into there at the facilities. So, look, they've done a great job making it a much better job than it was when Dave Clawson took the post 11 years ago. The last 2 years haven't shown it to be the best job, but the kind of rededication that comes with revenue sharing and with John Curry confirming that they're going to spend every dollar that they're allowed to based on the House settlement coming down the highway in 2025, it's going to be a better job than it has been for not only the last 2 years, but I think for the last decade.
It's just one of those places, man. It's the smallest Power 4 school. It's a private school. It's got a smaller alumni base. I mean, winning there is, as difficult as it is to win at Duke. But Duke's on a run of really good coaches. Wake's on a run of really good coaches. I hope the next one is just as good. Real quick about the Blue Devils, who will play George Mason tonight. Yeah, George Mason, they're not a school in the 200s or the 300s. It's a pretty competitive, mid-conference, middle conference school. What have you seen from the Blue Devils? How much is the Isaiah Evans experience, you think? Is that going to be with us for the long haul? What do you make of what we've seen from Duke over the last few weeks?
I think if I know John Shire and his coaching tendencies the way that I'd like to think I know them, I think you'll see Isaiah get a chance in the first half of just about every game, indefinitely, to see if does he throw him in there and is Isaiah hot?
Right.
And if Isaiah's hot, you ride the hot hand. We saw that. They have the best win of the season because of that. I also think Isaiah runs hot and cold, and if he's cold, then you've got other pieces.
Yeah.
You're not sitting there relying on Isaiah when you've got if Sion James starts again, then Caleb Foster's coming off your bench. It'll be interesting to see if Malik Brown plays tonight. He missed last week's game. He didn't even have a boot on last week, so I'm inclined to think he plays tonight. I'm inclined to think that just the quick turnaround of going Louisville to Incarnate Word in about 49 hours made that kind of untenable for him. It's going to be a bit of a dogfight tonight. Both of these teams are in the top 10 in KenPom in some defensive metrics when it comes to making teams miss shots.
Right.
I think soft rims at Cameron notwithstanding, there might be a lot of missed shots hitting the iron tonight.
Oh, man, what a sell. What a selling point for college basketball. Conor O'Neill predicting a lot of missed shots tonight. That's fantastic.
I'm not doing a good job for the HC Network on that one. But yeah, it is two teams that excel in making you miss shots.
Perfect. Conor, man, thank you so much for the time. Merry Christmas to you. I will talk to you soon.
Thank you, Adam. I appreciate it.
You got it. Conor O'Neill _DI. Look out. Put a hard hat on. If you're going to Cameron Indoor tonight, wear some protective gear. When we come back, we'll look at the basketball games tonight, and there are a few that are certainly worth keeping an eye on locally and also within the league. And then Dave Doeren at the bottom of the hour. Next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Tonight's forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Aho scores! Shorthanded! Sebastian Aho gets Carolina on the board.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 7. Puck drop at 7:30.
Kotkaniemi with a drive, he scores! Kotkaniemi picks the far corner, and the Canes go up 4-1.
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
Hi, it's Adam Gold for my dear friend, my closest bosom buddy, Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary. First of all, Gordon is a smart guy. I met him 26 years ago, 25 years ago, when he told me about the no closing cost mortgage. I didn't understand it. And he said, look, people pay closing costs. It lowers their monthly payment by paying closing costs. That's all you're doing. And you're lowering it by about $50 a month. But if you want to refinance, you can't do it within 8 years. Otherwise, the closing cost money, you've wasted. Nobody wants to waste $5,000. I don't have $5,000 to waste. Do you? So don't pay closing costs ever. You simply get a great rate at Miller Lending, MillerLending.com. And then when the rates come down, and they will, Gordon says they'll be in the 5s next year, you refinance free of charge, lower your monthly payment, and still don't pay closing costs. We're saving all sorts of money. You could buy an island. Maybe not. Miller Lending, an equal housing lender, NMLS ID 2502146.
It's bow time. 'Tis the season for food and family, but thanks to Bojangles, you don't have to spend hours in the kitchen when loved ones come home for the holidays. Set down the spatula and put away the mixing bowls because this holiday season, Bojangles is ready to help you celebrate with all your family favorites like Chicken Supreme, Cajun Filet Biscuits, or a big bow box of hand-breaded chicken, scratch-made biscuits, and fixins for the whole family. We'll make the food so you can focus on making memories. Head to Bojangles and gift yourself a taste of home. It's Bo time.
If it's ho-ho-ho time, it's Bo time. Time to order a party-sized platter of that bodacious Bojangles flavor before your next holiday celebration. Choose a Bojangles Supremes platter and get 50 whole breast tenderloin fillets. Or go with a Bojangles dessert platter and get 2 dozen Bo-Berry biscuits, 2 dozen cinnamon twists, or 1 dozen of each. It's a platter full of Bo-liciousness. And don't forget to pick up Bojangles gift cards. Just the right gift for anyone on your list. Hurry, it's Bo time.
Martha was ready to switch to a career in IT.
There's always a need for IT specialists, especially with AI coming out and cybersecurity. It's practically recession-proof.
She heard an ad for My Computer Career and jumped in feet first.
Taking exams and getting certified in a matter of just months.
Even better, you can work from anywhere.
Wherever you are. If you're on vacation, you can still clock in. I work out of my house in my pajamas.
My Computer Career even provides job placement help.
The career specialists, they're very helpful. They care about you as a person. You're not just a number to them.
Launch a new high-demand career in IT or level up with more certifications. Build a career in record time with less money.
I would recommend My Computer Career wholeheartedly to anyone. Indeed, it was the right move for me.
Take the free career evaluation today. Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
This is Adam Gold.
What, a minute 53 into the game? Heat of the moment?
Right.
What kind of heat of the moment is that? We haven't even gotten to simmer yet.
I know. Did someone flip him off in the parking lot? Like, what are we...
Seriously.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Dave Doeren will join us in 10 minutes. NC State's head coach. They will take on ECU in the Military Bowl. I know there's other words involved there, but we all get it. College basketball tonight, ACC. We have 2 games locally that obviously matter. Actually, 3. Wake Forest is also local, especially depending on where you are listening to this program. By the way, 7 o'clock, they will take on James Madison. It's not like when James Madison plays football here, although will James Madison score 70 in basketball? Steve Forbes' team is 8-3. They haven't won any real good games yet. I'm not saying this is a real good game because I'm not sure it is. But Wake's got to stack a bunch of wins and they got to get their act together. Flat out. If we want to see Wake Forest make the NCAA tournament, they're going to have a really good record in the league and win the right kind of games. So these are all building blocks. They cannot afford a difficult loss here. The other 2 games locally, we've got Duke and George Mason. Mason is a good defensive team. Yes, as Conor O'Neill told us, they force teams to miss shots. So does Duke. Expect a lot of missed shots tonight. Duke, analytically speaking, is good to great at everything. There are no weak spots, analytically speaking, on Duke. I do think that the Blue Devils can be vulnerable on the defensive glass. I mean, it's just as good. They have good players, and they have guys who can rebound. But I think if there is an area of vulnerability defensively, it's that. And I think on offense, they can become too dependent upon Cooper Flagg, at times Con Knipple. And what I don't see from them, and one of the reasons why I will always be fascinated by Isaiah Evans, and this might not even work because Evans seems to be very much a shooter as opposed to a driver. But I don't know that Duke has a guy who can get from the wing or from the three-point line to the basket off the dribble. That is my one fear about the way Duke plays. They also don't necessarily have a very good post offense. Cooper Flagg is more of a high post guy. Kaman Malawash is, they could throw lobs to him, but I don't think they're throwing the ball to him in the post all that often. But the Blue Devils have George Mason. That'll be an interesting game tonight, 7 o'clock on the ACC network. But the one on ESPN that I think is critical for North Carolina, keep this in mind. Dayton's a good team. And Carolina beat Dayton out in Maui. So by the end of the season, that's going to be a good win. It certainly, it wouldn't have been a bad loss. But right now, that's Carolina's win. That one. The win against Dayton, where they rallied from, I think, 21 or 22 down in the second half. That's the win. They've lost. Now, they've lost to, legit national championship caliber teams. Alabama, Auburn, Kansas. They lost all those games. Florida's 7th in the country. We're only sitting here on December 17th. It's hard to say this is a must-win for UNC. But as we've already documented about ACC basketball, there just aren't a lot of great opportunities to build your resume in the league. So it's not their last opportunity. They still have a game against UCLA. But in Charlotte, largely in front of your fans against Florida, man, it's hard not to look at this and say, man, you got to have this one if you're the Tar Heels, which is why I went with them on FanDuel.
There you go. See, you're invested.
What a dope I am. But honestly, this is it's a very big spot for UNC tonight. RJ Davis needs to snap out of this shooting funk that he's still in. I know 2 for 6 from three-point range represents an improvement for RJ Davis at this point. Still not getting great interior play. They did get a great game from Cade Tyson off the bench against LaSalle, but man, they need something out of Washington or Lubin. They just need more up front. And my fear is that this team is too perimeter-oriented. And yeah, they can create mismatches with small ball, but it hurts them defensively. One of the things that North Carolina has been throughout the last half century is a dominant rebounding, offensive rebounding team. And I just don't see that team. And if they're not going to shoot it well, it's just tough to overcome all of that. Big game. By the way, Clemson, South Carolina tonight. Tigers need to bounce back from the loss to Memphis. South Carolina's not great, but it's an SEC team, and everybody in the SEC provides you with an opportunity. And Clemson going on the road, it's a good chance for the Tigers to get a good resume win. All right, we got a break. We'll come back. Dave Doeren on the other side. NC State's coach. They're taking on East Carolina in the Military Bowl. We'll talk about that and more next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and we've got the NBA on our minds. And FanDuel has all your favorite bets, from who will win the game to how many points a player will score. We got parlays, we got totals, we have everything, player props as well. Plus, you can check out newer bets, number of dunks, assists, three-pointers in the next 3 minutes. My gosh, we're getting specific, aren't we? It doesn't matter if you tap into FanDuel before the game starts or after it's already tipped off. You can pick up a dub whenever, and now's the perfect time to do it. New customers Bet $5, win that bet, get $150 in bonus bets. How about that? FanDuel.com/AGS for your chance to win. Have a ball. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
It's that time of year. We can't wait to visit our loved ones. Don't let COVID-19 and the flu stop you. So make sure you don't have to cancel on those you love the most by getting your flu and COVID vaccines. Both flu and COVID vaccines have been updated to fight against the new virus strains that will continue to spread this fall and winter. Don't wait. Get your updated shots today.
Get protected this season with updated COVID-19 and flu shots. Visit myspot.nc.gov and find yours today.
As public power customers, we experience fewer outages and faster restoration than customers of other electric providers. But the benefits of having a locally owned electric system go far beyond unbeaten reliability. Our local public power employees support our community, providing electric hookups for events, installing and maintaining ballpark lights, holiday lights, traffic lights, street lights, and more. Local people working together to meet local needs. That's the value of public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
Healthcare.gov has plans for health because you have plans for life. All plans cover doctor visits and emergency care to keep you and your family running strong. All plans cover hospital stays and prescriptions so you can have peace of mind. Visit healthcare.gov to explore health plans from the brands you know. 4 out of 5 customers can find a health plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Final deadline to enroll is January 15th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
As fall championships begin, the Governor's Highway Safety Program would like to remind you to buckle your seatbelt when traveling home from today's events. Whether you're driving out of town or across town this holiday season, wearing a seatbelt is your best defense against injury or death in a crash. During the busiest time of travel, prioritize your safety and buckle up. Every seat, every time. And remember, click it or ticket. It's the law. This message brought to you by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and the Governor's Highway Safety Program.
AARP is working hard to make sure people in North Carolina are getting the most out of life. Whether it's helping you stay healthy, save more money, care for loved ones, or simply have some fun, AARP is making a difference in communities across the state. You have a wise friend and fierce defender with AARP. Learn more about progress being made for older adults in the state by listening to AARP Without Limits. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
You wouldn't ask your mechanic to help stage your property for an open house. As NC Realtors, we're experts who make buying or selling property easier for you. Using the latest technology and armed with local insights, our Realtors help you find properties you would want to call home. We also know which details make your property more attractive to other buyers. From start to finish, our Realtors know. Find out more at ncrealtorsknow.com.
This is Adam Gold.
Dan on Twitter, who you got? Robert Plant or Elvis Presley? That is actually very difficult because I don't want to disrespect Elvis Presley. I think it's Elvis. It's very, very close. And that is an incredible question.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria on the ones and twos. We are 7 shopping days now until Christmas. Dave Doeren is the head coach at NC State. Sir, how many shopping days do you need to get ready for the holiday?
0. I'm ready.
Oh, really? I'm so impressed. Everybody says I'm not ready. When did you start?
Oh man, I don't know. Sometimes you find things you want to give people, sometimes you don't, and it's just one of those years, But I'm looking forward to the family time for sure.
Yeah. How do you? Your game is after the holiday. The Military Bowl is the 28th. So how do you work? How do you work the holiday and making sure that the guys get a chance to spend quality time with their loved ones? You as well. You need that. You need that time as well. I know you're a family guy. How do you balance all this?
Yeah, it's a great question. I try to look at the calendar, figure out the number of days we need to get in, how many of them are developmental, how many of them are game specific, and then how much time can we give them where it's not too much time, because you want to keep the skills and the game plan somewhat ready. And then when can you get to the bowl game to polish it back up and obviously enjoy the activities the bowl games offer. So it is a balancing act, and we've changed a little bit this year from other years. Just felt like there were some things that, we've lost some close bowl games here recently. Really wanted to find a way to get over the top, and had a lot of research in the off season, just how we can do things a little differently and hopefully finish with a win.
There's a lot of things I want to get to. First of all, Annapolis is such a cool city, and having spent for me about 10 years in the Baltimore, Washington area right out of school, I mean, I'm very familiar with just how beautiful Annapolis is, how historic Annapolis is. When you guys are up there, how much of the city will you guys take in?
Well, we're staying in D.C., and so we're not in Annapolis. We play there, obviously. The hotel is in D.C., so, we will get a lot of D.C. in. There's several tours that our guys are going to get to be a part of and see the nation's capital. So we're excited about that.
Yeah.
Really won't see Annapolis until game day. And obviously my athletic director has a lot of history at West Point and that rivalry, so he's given me a lot of intel about what we're going to see. But a couple of my coaches, I know my D-line coach, Charlie Wiles, has played in this game twice and has been there, so he's given us some as well. But looking forward to it. I've never been there. Been to West Point, have not been to Annapolis, so personally looking forward to playing there on game day.
It is an absolutely gorgeous seaside city. You'll love it. The development of C.J. Bailey. I know the plan was not to need C.J. Bailey this year, and then because of the injuries to Grayson McCall and the ultimate retirement from the game. What have you seen from C.J.? Certainly a dynamic player with an incredible future ahead of him. What have you seen from him?
Yeah, hungry to learn. Has a great growth mindset, wants to improve, loves the game, loves studying the game, has a lot of spirit. He's got a charismatic, kind of magnetic personality that you like being around. I mean, I really enjoy coaching him. And he takes ownership. Like when he makes mistakes, he doesn't point fingers. He doesn't blame others. There's no excuses. He does all those things naturally. And so he has all the intangibles, and he has the height, and he has the athletic ability. So, there's a ton of upside still. But he's improved immensely over the year. And even when he has made mistakes, he's come back and gotten better from them. So we're really excited and look forward to CJ being here.
When you recruit somebody like anybody, but specifically the position of quarterback, do you know that there's a love of the game and there's he's a tape junkie or stuff like that where he because not everybody is. I mean, sometimes they're just great athletes who play the game, right? So, do you know this?
Right, yeah. I mean, that's something we try to do. I mean, I tell you, the recruiting calendar has made this harder and harder. Yeah. Getting to know these guys the way that we really want to know them. But, our coaches do a really good job of asking a lot of questions. When we do get to go out on the road, trying to get the intel that matters to our program. Everybody's programs are different in how they evaluate, but we want to see it. Like, I think in-person live evals are critical in the evaluation stage. Being there for meetings if you can, if they're having player meetings with their coaches at the high school level, being able to sit in those, seeing how he handles coaching. If you can go to a game and see how he handles his teammates, how he comes back from a tough series or an interception, all those things. So the more you can see, the better. And we definitely try to be very diligent in that, because the last thing I want is a guy at that position that doesn't love the stuff behind the scenes.
Dave Doeren is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. You talked about the calendar, and I was going to get to that, so let's do it here. The portal opens up before bowl season. Now, I don't think it's necessarily impacted you that much, a little bit, but certainly like Duke down the road is out of quarterbacks. I don't know who's going to play quarterback for them in the Gator Bowl. How does this get fixed, where the portal doesn't open until after everything is done?
Yeah, I mean, I think what's happening right now is tragic, and it's broken. It's impacting my team a lot. It's impacting everyone's team. It's not necessarily always star players that you're missing.
True.
But, I mean, if you got 20 guys that leave your team, even walk-ons are leaving teams because they want to get on the field somewhere, it impacts practice, and your scout teams. It impacts your depth charts on special teams. So all of it, I mean, I think last year when we played Kansas State, between the two teams, there was 45 guys that didn't play, and
right.
So there's a huge impact. And how do you fix it? I think you start the season earlier. You finish the season earlier before the second semester begins, including bowl games. Have the national championship game be on January 1st so that it is a one-semester sport. And you put the portal window after the bowl games. That's my opinion. I don't know another way, because right now it's designed for people not to finish. And the finish matters. Like winning bowl games matters. Winning playoff games matters. But it's designed in a terrible way for these guys, because if they want to transfer and be somewhere for their second semester, which I would understand why, it's before they play all these championship games, But, yeah, I mean, these kids are here in the summertime. We could start our season a month earlier and be done a month earlier, and the guys would have a chance at the end of the season. And same with coaches. Don't let a coach leave until seasons are over, just like the NFL does. Make people finish what they start.
How hard is it to retain your roster? Because you got to recruit your own roster these days now.
Yeah, it's challenging. Yeah, I mean, for everybody, your first week after the season is exit interviews with your players and finding out where they stand and whether they're going to come back. And yeah, it's different, and it's year to year on how hard that may be, and it's probably program to program. We've had a great deal of success and retention, and sometimes you'll lose a guy here and there, but for the most part, we've had a lot of success here because of the success of our program and stability of it. But I think it's hard for all coaches, and what makes it harder is there's a lot of illegal stuff going on the outside where schools are using agents to contact players or families to try to lure them away. And to me, it's sad that that's happening in college football.
Dave Doeren is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I do want to ask you about two coaches that, one just left and the other's coming in. Real quick, your thoughts on maybe why, as much as the fact that Dave Clawson announced his resignation yesterday. Dave has been a great coach in this league for more than a decade. Contemporary, you guys basically got here about the same time. I think you got here maybe a shade earlier. But I mean, he's had a great run here, and he's talked about the changing landscape. Your thoughts on Dave Clawson stepping down?
Yeah, well, I have a lot of respect for Dave. We coached against each other in the MAC prior to being here, and I got here 1 year ahead of him, and we've had a lot of good games against each other. I texted him yesterday, congratulations, and that I was going to miss competing against him because I really respect him. I think it's not my place to say why he did what he did. That's his place.
Right.
Obviously you saw what Tony Bennett said at Virginia. I'm sure there's some carryover in that, and I look forward to reading his comments whenever they come out if they haven't already.
And the other guy, and you've got you've had a good relationship. I think there's been a respect that Bill Belichick has shown you and your program over the years, and now you're going to compete against him. What's that going to be like?
Oh, I mean, look, I have great respect for all the guys I compete against, and obviously Coach Belichick was the gold standard of the NFL, and he's gracious enough to allow me to come up and visit one of their OTAs, and actually Kobe Bryant was there that day and spoke to their team, and I got to learn a lot watching him do what he does. He's one of the best ever to coach football, and I'm excited to compete against him. Really excited, and no different than when Coach Brown came in. I was excited to compete against Coach Brown. I mean, he's a Hall of Fame coach. To me, it motivates me, and I told Coach Brown that. He made me a better coach because I knew I had to do what I had to do to win against him. That's what I owe this university, and same thing when you coach against Dabo. Like, you're going to go against a really, really good football coach, a Hall of Fame coach one day, and you got to step up your game, and it's no different now. I'm excited to compete against Coach Belichick and have nothing but respect for him.
All right, two more things, and then we will let you go. The first is, while you weren't a part of it this year, what do you think ultimately, has this been a good year one of the college football playoff?
I know that's going to be an exciting month. I'm really excited to see the on-campus playoff games and the atmospheres of them. I think it's going to be awesome. As far as the selections and all those things, to be honest, I haven't even paid attention to some of that stuff. I've been trying to worry about my own program, but I think it's going to be great to see these games on campuses. I'm being a former FCS coach. When I was at Montana, we had home field advantage, and we were in a lot of playoff games there. It was fun. I mean, you talk about live atmospheres, man. It's going to be a lot of fun to see these games.
I had totally forgotten that you were at Montana. You see the Final Four of the FCS? It's South Dakota State, South Dakota, North Dakota State, and Montana State. What does the Big Sky know that nobody else does?
It's a good football league, man. I mean, really good. When I was there, we won the Big Sky twice, and that was before the Dakotas were in it. At that time, it was usually us or Eastern Washington that were kind of in the tops of the league. But it's a really good league. There's good coaches. They do a great job, fan base-wise, selling out games and quality football. And, yeah, I really enjoyed my 2 years at the University of Montana.
All right, final thing. Tony Gibson, now no longer with you. How big? I mean, it's a big loss. I mean, your defenses have been great. I mean, I know this year wasn't the year that you or Tony would have wanted. It's tough to replace Peyton Wilson. I think we found that out. What are your thoughts on Tony moving on?
I'm really happy for Tony. He's earned the right to be a head coach, and it's a great opportunity for him to go back to his home state and run a program with tradition, history, and expectations. I know he's walking into a hornet's nest with what's happened there in the portal, but he'll get it right. And it's one thing he knows how to do is galvanize people and recruit and coach. So Tony will do a great job there. And obviously, anytime you lose a coach, you'll miss that coach that did a job like Tony did. But it's an opportunity for somebody now to come in and continue what we've done and make us better.
Sir, I wish you the best in the Military Bowl against East Carolina. That's interesting. If you close this season against them and you start next season against them, does it probably makes this bowl better because it is a kind of a rivalry game, no?
People keep saying that. To me, a rival is a team you play every year. We play ECU every 3 years, and so some of our players, it's an in-state game, so there's definitely stakes. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
But our rival is the team we play every year that wears that ugly color, and so that's how we look at rivalry. But we definitely look at this as a big in-state game.
Okay, I need to ask this. I'm sorry to keep you for one more thing, but you said, I don't know, about a month ago that you're contractually not allowed to wear blue. Are you serious?
That's right. Oh, yeah.
It's in your deal.
No, it's not in my deal. I mean, that was just an agreement. Handshake's as good as a contract, in my opinion, so... Yeah, no, they told me when I was hired, don't ever show up wearing baby blue, and I get it. I won't.
So only dark wash jeans, is that it?
I guess so, yeah. What are you going to do? You got to wear blue jeans, don't you?
Hey, thank you very much. Good luck up there. Merry Christmas to you and yours.
All right, take care. Happy holidays, and go Pack.
You got it. Dave Doeren here on the Adam Gold Show. I almost forgot to ask that.
I like the clarification. It's good to have the clarification.
It's a handshake agreement.
Right.
Because the contract is public record. We saw Bill Belichick's contract, and I read it, and there is nothing in there that says he cannot wear red.
Right, but he's a man of his word and his handshake. I like it.
Oh, man. Gosh, it's been 12 years for Dave Doeren as a head coach at NC State. That's a long run. I hope that Dave, and I think he has, I think Dave has embraced the new, you don't have to like it, but I think Dave has embraced this new era of college football, and he'll be around for a while longer. I know State fans are mad. This season didn't go well. We get it. The program is so good. I hope that they'll max out in terms of wins. I do. This year didn't. It went the other way. They probably got the least out of this season. There's no doubt about it. But I think the program is just so healthy, and I'm glad Dave Doeren's still sticking around. Should we rewind? Darin Gantt, Panthers.com. We asked the old guy stuff. He's not even that old.
I know. I've told him this. I don't know why he likes to go by that.
Well, because he likes to pretend to be old.
Yeah.
Anyway, I asked Darin, basically crystallize what we saw against the Cowboys.
What I take it as is one game.
Yeah.
And it maybe it's because I've been doing this for 30 years, but do you prefer to look at the last 5 weeks of evidence, or do you think this one game? And we do this weird thing now where every week is a referendum on forever. And, you know, the internet was a terrible idea. I wish we could do it over. Hot take culture has ruined sports conversations. Everybody wants to make today forever. And that's not how it is in real life. I just think that these things are rarely linear. I would rather, put it this way. Here's some context for you.
Sure.
In 2022, interim coach Steve Wilkes gets the Carolina Panthers on a little bit of a run. They win a couple of games. Yeah. They're favored against the Pittsburgh Steelers for the first time in forever. And Mike Tomlin came in, and Mike Tomlin, the Carolina Panthers, and beat them down and punched them in the face with a Mitch Trubisky-led team, and it looked sloppy, and oh, my God, these guys are the worst ever. The very next week, they put 570 yards, 320 rushing on the Detroit Lions, who were starting to be good.
Yeah.
And now we realize are good. And so the question you ask yourself is, which one's the outlier? And, we'll find out this week when they play the Arizona Cardinals, who are a decent but not great team. If they go back to playing the kind of ball they played the previous 5 weeks, we'll know that was the real thing. If they play like they did against Dallas, we'll know there's still a lot of big problems.
That's Darin Gantt, Panthers.com. That's the thing that bothered me, and we talked about it yesterday, was that we were treating, not we, because we definitely didn't, but too many people were treating Sunday as a setback. It's not a setback. I mean, it's a setback if you had designs on making the playoffs, which they were eliminated from anyway. So it wasn't a setback. It was simply a bad game. And we have seen enough from Bryce Young. This is my opinion of Bryce. And I'll probably, maybe have one more thing from Darin here. But I think what we have seen from Bryce, I think even against Dallas in a bad game, was that, there's enough quarterback clay to work with next year. And that's what this year was about. We go back to the very beginning of the season, the hiring of Dave Canales. What was it about? It was about getting Bryce Young looking like an NFL quarterback and having him grow. The problem with, we're 2 years in now, is that next year's got to be the growth year, right? You would have loved year one to be the growth year. All right, let's get up to, get your NFL legs under you, and then the following year you start winning. The roster was so bad in year one, and he got off to such a bad start in year two that this year became, can we see if he can play? Now, maybe because we've seen that he can play, next year can be accelerated a little bit, depending on the roster. But the truth is that it almost feels like next year's going to be we're going to take the training wheels off and let him go and see how good he can be. But I think at the end of next year, they're going to have to make a decision on whether or not Bryce Young is the quarterback long term. So, and you hate that, because what you'd love to have is, 2-3 years of cheap quarterback. 2-3 years of inexpensive quarterback, and if you can get that, then you can rebuild or build up the rest of your roster a little bit. So those are my thoughts on Bryce. What did Darin have to say about Bryce next year and maybe beyond?
Here's what I think. I mean, if you would have asked me this in week 3, I think it would have been reasonable to wonder if he was ever going to make it in the NFL. I mean, that's a completely different person. And I don't know what – Bryce is not really big on reflection or any of that kind of stuff, as you might have noticed. But Bryce is – he's changed the entire narrative. I mean, it's gone from, oh, God, can this guy play at all, to, well, maybe he could be okay. And then, that's why I don't want to let 1 week. I mean, there were still some moments within that 1 week. I don't want to do the old, other than the 4 turnovers, it was, because obviously that's not something anybody can ever sustain. But I do think there's been enough positive football from him, and not just the efficiency, but the doing things he didn't do last year and things he didn't do the first 2 weeks of this year, which is move the ball downfield with some degree of authority, making those off-script plays, getting out of the pocket, extending plays when there's pressure, and finding plays downfield. I mean, they talked about, we wrote about it a couple weeks ago. They call it baller mode, when, you get outside the pocket and activate that second play, as they call it. So I just think he's made enough strides that it's reasonable to think you go into next year and say, all right, we're going to stabilize things. We're going to try, here's the thing. Are they going to rebuild that defense the way they did the offense this offseason? Yes, they are. Do they need to? Oh, absolutely. And they're gonna. And so I think it's reasonable to go into next year and say, all right, year 3, we're going to find out once and for all what Bryce Young's all about. And I think there are at least signs that in a stable situation, it could be positive.
I am on board. Let's see Bryce for another year, and then we'll make a decision after that. I got 2 things before we get out of here. The first is, who did Logan Paul just fight, Victoria?
Mike Tyson.
He's like 58.
Yes.
Done, washed,
Hurt,
all that.
all of it.
And we're like, Logan Paul has made a lot of money fighting people that have no chance to beat anybody. Conor McGregor, that's the next fight for Logan Paul.
Sure is. Still a joke.
This is not even a Logan Paul problem anymore. This is, how dumb do fight fans have to be to buy this? Seriously.
Yeah. Well,
Conor McGregor isn't going to beat up Logan Paul.
This is why people don't like to watch boxing anymore, because he's totally making a mockery of it.
But if there wasn't a market for this,
yeah,
it wouldn't happen.
Of course, he brings money. They both do.
So this is going to be one of those colossal, poop shows. All right, Canes tonight. I'll close on this. I'll give you 20 seconds. Big night for Pyotr Kochetkov. Really big night for Pyotr Kochetkov. He hadn't shown consistency even within games in a while. We need Pyotr to be the best version of himself, and for an extended stretch. Canes and Islanders tonight. Radio-only game, so 7:30 start. Victoria, thank you. See everybody tomorrow.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold from my friend Coach Pete DeRuta, Capital Financial Advisory Group in Apex. I always tell you about the best. Best in customer service, best in service. How about the